Are we finally live yet?
I like the cheese. Cheese.
Stick with the
Add
cheese.
Bring it back, dude.
Gotta shred that cheese, man.
Take it away.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 198. I'm your host, Anthony Trapani. Feels like it's been forever since I've been sitting in the seat, but only was 2 weeks ago, but I'm back. And I'm back with a couple of resident homies. Gonna have the full bunch soon. Joseph's gonna come a little bit later, but I got Casey Howard, Joel Horner with me. What up, dudes?
What up?
Good to see you guys. And tonight we're joined by Ian Waye from Soreption and Till the Dirt. What up, dude?
This is it, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Thanks for being with us, dude.
Hell yeah.
We were talking pre-pod about Joel and I seeing you in San Francisco with that on that Atheist tour, and yeah, dude, you definitely made us pay attention. You guys sounded killer that night, and you were crushing. So
Yeah, it was actually, I brought it up on the podcast before, just because the style of music, you know, I have tinnitus in an ear, my hearing's all fucked up and stuff, and I've always kind of been really critical of a lot of death metal mixes live, you know, not critical, but just like, fuck, I need to stand in the right spot right next to the fucking mixing board and try to get like, to not make the guitar sound fizzy and stuff like that. And I was like, remember after seeing you, we did this podcast, and I was like, that's like the perfect formula for live death metal, just that kind of like groovy start stoppy, it just really hits harder, like it's less chaos, it's more people were just like fucking, like there's people just making that disgusting face, you know, all over the place, and I was
we've talked about it plenty of times on the show before too, but your first introduction to a band live, I had not really listened to Soreption before that
crazy
gig, so actually I don't even think I listened to it at all, and you know,
yeah, that's
definitely
that is crazy.
I list Soreption as one of those bands that I was introduced to in a live setting, and I love that when you see a band live and they blow your socks off and it's your first introduction to their music. So I might have a deeper connection with Soreption now because of that situation, and not just, you know, going and here's the new single type deal and listening to it on your phone or some shit like that, you know, just getting that full like fledged version of Soreption in a good sounding place, and the energy's there. I think there's more elements that added to it that made me fully dive in on Soreption, you know.
sick.
I'm a dad of 3, dude, so like sitting down with and I really don't like to listen to music, like especially music that I haven't heard before. I don't want to hear it on some earbuds or some shit like that. I want to have that time to sit down in front of a nice system and enjoy it that way. But with, you know, being a dad of 3, when I'm at home, like I don't have that time, dude. And by the time they're asleep, I'm wanting to climb in bed and just sit still.
When I saw the show in San Diego, I've said it before on the pod, we've talked about it, but what did I say about that night with Soreption?
I don't remember. We've done 200.
You guys even know me? No, joking. No, I said they were the best band of the night, dude. I was like, that shit was fucking great.
And you guys are too kind, man.
Yeah,
that's honest. It's all honesty. I was blown away. Absolutely
big fans. I've been. I mean, ever since I don't even know when I first heard Soreption, but I've always thought they're fucking amazing. And it's not just like obviously like the tightness in the playing and the sound, but dude, like the writing, their songwriting. I'm like, yes, see, that's what I'm fucking talking about. That shit's like every time. And even like I was just telling the guys we were getting on here, I was like driving home from work and
I just put on your like Instagram like videos, and I was like, I would just drive, and I would like scroll the next one. I wasn't looking, but I was listening, you know. And it was like I was like, God damn, dude, all that shit is so sick. Like,
So good.
you're talking about the Swedish Gallop and stuff, and like, I was just like, I love this shit, dude.
Oh yeah, I watched that today too. The Swedish
yeah,
Gallop.
yeah.
That was you that did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The Swedish, you did that video, the Swedish Gallop video.
Yeah, we did that for Riff Hard. Yeah, it was like part of like a Gallup masterclass that we did. And
I think I saw that today.
Yeah, we just like put that on this. I mean, masterclass. We use the term loosely, right? But I mean, at the same time, like it's supposed to take you from like ground zero with a gallop, and then just take it all the way to the top as hard as it can possibly be. And like it's like alternating gallops, Swedish gallops, which basically adds an upstroke, like the bleed pattern.
Yeah.
So just regular gallops.
So instead of it's like that, something like that.
It's like a sorry. Yeah, you got me confused here, man. It's a group of 4 notes. Yeah, it's a gallop with an extra 8th note tossed at the end. But if you play it like Meshuggah, it's or even like Soreption. And yeah, I was a fan of Soreption long before I joined the band, so I could speak of them from like a third person perspective. And I don't sound like I'm talking about myself. But like, I was a huge fan of the band first, and like, the band always plays at lower tempos and has like, things divided in different subdivisions. So like, they have like 30-second notes and 2/16 versus like two 16th notes and an 8th note. So I think that is how you play it. So like that,
yeah.
But the key between like the Swedish Gallop, I guess, is the upstroke at the end, the down up down up. And I just kind of called it a Swedish Gallop because of bleed. It's not patent. Somebody can steal that or do whatever they are, just shit all over me for it. I don't know, but at the same time,
shout out.
It's just a name. I thought that was
Tin Flesh wants to say that you got him into death metal, dude. So,
hell
what
yeah,
up, Daniel?
Right on.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it's Danny. Damn. Yeah, what's up, dude? Yeah, it's one of my old students.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, it's a guy. Dude's super good, man. He's like a virtuoso. I remember I used to run like this band program at a school I used to teach at, and he just walked in one day and he was like playing bass for the band. Then like the other guys like gave him his guitar, and then he just like shredded the solo for Tornado of Souls, man. And just like front to back, just nailed it. Yeah,
that's a rite of passage right there. That's like having
so impressive. Yeah,
that's like that's like a cert. Like you got your Cisco networking. I can fucking play Tornado of Souls. You're just like, this guy walks in the door. You're like, Jesus, dude.
Just holds it up. It's like on his wall. It's like
played it. It's like the teenage band student version. And I'm like, damn, I can't even fucking play that. This guy, this 13-year-old can play this shit.
That's similar to the Joseph story with you, the professor coming in. And
dude. Oh, dude, and his buddy just playing Necrophagus in front of me. I'm like,
yeah.
Like harmonizing all the parts, and they're like in high school. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, sick. I guess I shouldn't play guitar.
So good.
Oh god, I know.
All right, let's rock some.
Go
plugs real quick. Let's rock some plugs. Battleforgecoffee.com. The homies and Deeds of Flesh. I was just in a Motel 6 with one of the company's CEOs, or you can't have multiple CEOs. One of the owners. No, it was Ivan.
Oh, Ivan. Okay, I didn't know he was part of it.
Yep. And cool. But it's funny is he wouldn't drink coffee the whole trip.
He wouldn't. That's a good advertisement.
Because we were going
get high on your own supply, man.
We would go to this cafe. We went to this cafe every morning. It was called Old West Cafe, and they didn't do it like he only drinks like espresso shit. So I was just hitting the drip coffee the whole time. But yeah. Battleforgecoffee.com. Old Town Cafe has pretty good coffee, by the way, too. If you're ever in Halton City, Texas, go over there, get your setup with coffee. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com, Oceanside, California. You're looking for a place to jam? That's the place to go. We've been plugging them for a long time, and we back that place for sure. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com.
Get it.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty much it. Do we have anything else? Oh yeah, CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com. That's back up and running. I don't even know. Is it?
I think Joseph said he got more shit.
Yeah, Joseph's got a shit. All right, so we got our inventory.
We're the worst at advertising that, by the way. Like we'll just be like, We'll put it up there, and Joseph will be like, "No, I don't have any shirts, dude. Don't buy any." And then like someone could listen to it like in a month or something.
We just confuse people. We keep it super vague and just like, I don't know.
You got to keep them on their toes, right?
Yeah, if you can actually get
you
one,
might
dude,
have some merch, you might not.
yeah. If you actually get one,
Play in the
so,
water,
yeah,
you know.
it's a Circuit City only.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And also too, actually, Ian, we skip on that stuff, obviously Soreption and all the music stuff. But as far as like you said, lessons, do you do lessons?
I do lessons.
How do people get a hold of you for lessons?
Well, they go through Instagram sometimes. I have my email on my Instagram as well. Sometimes people hit me up through Google. Yeah, you can like Google my name. I guess people like in the vicinity around Edmonton, they can find me through there if they search like Edmonton guitar lessons and stuff like that. But a lot of new students these days come through Instagram and social media.
What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram is the Milky Way, and Way with WAYE.
Nice.
And my email is guitarlessons@eonmusic.com. So if anybody wants any lessons, hit me up. We'll see if we can find you a spot for all things, shred and metal.
And then a Soreption plug. Is there a central hub for Soreption, or just find it on Instagram again too? Obviously, you guys are huge, so you got to have a website, right?
We did have a website, and I think Fred actually might be the best guy to talk to about that. But we took it down because nobody uses websites anymore, I guess.
That's
and,
true.
Paying for a domain, and it was, I guess, like pointless to spend the money on it. So we just ended up using social media instead and kind of focusing on that. But there was a long time Soreption had Soreption.net. And in fact, it might be still up. I actually don't know, to be honest, but I'm just going off of what they had said. But it's the plan is not to focus on that at this point.
Totally.
I remember the first band, like Black Dahlia Murder, like made their MySpace page. Like you go to blackdahlia.com or something, it just goes to their MySpace. It just the domain directs right to MySpace.
I didn't even know you do that.
It's like, whoa. I remember that was a big thing for all of us. We're like, we all have websites. What are we doing? We're like paying GoDaddy, all this. And so it's just like, yeah, dude, that's anyways, that's the thing.
Remember how cool we felt when
the
super pro Odious Mortem website we first got.
We had a rad website.
That's right.
Sick, whoever made that, I forgot his name, but he did a sick job. But yeah, it was just like, I can't remember why.
It was like the artwork was all part of the menu and shit. It was really cool. It was
like, I mean,
talented. For like 15 years ago, it was amazing.
Sick.
But it had an intro to the website. Isn't it?
That was crazy.
Oh yeah, an intro to that was the thing. The intro to the website, like a little video that would be like, Odious Mortem. It's like enter.
Remember, like real quick, I'm just gonna nerd out. You remember all the little weird little circuit board shit that was all over it?
Yeah. That's right, on the artwork.
On like one of the 365 admin centers I always have to log into, like it has that same, they just choose one of those default styles, and it's it reminds me of that odious web shit.
Just use really Par Olofsson for fucking
Par designed this Microsoft site. What the fuck is going on?
Damn,
stupid. But anyways,
when you guys make that, what year was that?
2006 at the end,
6 or 7.
Odious Mortem. You guys were doing shit back then.
Yeah.
It was our second album. We did one before that. In 2004, we recorded first. But
I'm sorry, I'm not super well versed in your guys' discography.
Nah, we're kind of a dormant band, but we got the stuff bubbling up.
Hell yeah,
yeah.
Well,
whatever. I'll
take a listen, man.
But anyways, back to you, bro. Let's
Also, real quick, let's plug Till the Dirt too. I don't know if you know where to go.
Fuck yeah,
Till the Dirt.
Hell yeah.
Hit that up on your social.
Man.
Go to the Dirt. We've got Kelly on twice, dude. Kelly's
that's what I thought. Kelly's he's an awesome guy, man. Yeah, okay. But Till the Dirt's like death metal meets grunge.
Why didn't we ever change the name to the? We should have made new logos for his episodes and called it Kelly Death Podcast.
I mean,
why is just coming to me now, dude? And when he comes back on, dude, we're gonna do it. Let's
you better, man. I'm gonna
change the logo and everything, dude. How sick would that be? Shout out to everybody in the chat real quick. What up, Ian? Nicole, haven't seen you in a while. Nicole, she's been on too. Ian's been on too. What do we got here? How's it going? Watching from the UK. Hey, Ian, love your work. Thanks for introducing me to the concept of reverse gallops. So is that the same thing we were talking about earlier with the reverse ones?
That's a different gallop.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you need the master class, man.
Oh, he needs it, dude.
The reverse is like you're raining blood, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like your like modern sounding gallop.
Gotcha. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm famous for doing the intro to "Wish You Were Here" on guitar. That's basically what I can do.
Anthony gallops in
That's a rite of passage too, man.
Oh shit, Vaughn's up in here too. Damn, we got a party going on, guys. Hell yeah.
What's up, man?
Cheers to everybody.
Ian brings all the boys to the yard.
That's what's up.
All right. Yeah.
Then they're like, my gallops are better than yours.
Already, yeah. We're already galloping about, and
oh man, the puns.
We could go all night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'll wait for Professor to talk about the fest and all that shit. I'm sure he wants to be in on that conversation. So let's just dig in on you, Ian, dude. So where were you? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Newfoundland, which is like a small island off the east coast of Canada. It's like a pretty isolated place, like there's like it's pretty far out of the way. You could drive off. It takes 8 hours at least to drive out of the province. You could fly out of there, but like flights are an arm and a leg. So I grew up in like the central part of that place called Gander. It's like a tall, like a small airport town. That town of 10,000 people.
What? So an airport town? What does that mean? Just it's the biggest thing in the city is an airport.
Well, yeah, 100%. But at the same time, it was like founded in like around World War II. It was like it was an army base for, I believe, the Canadian Army when they were flying overseas. And so they had this like stop because it's like really far east in North America. It's like actually the furthest east place in North America is Cape Spear, which is in St. John's, which is like on the Avalon Peninsula of the island. As far as you can go in North America east is in that place. So like they would basically stop the airplanes there and fuel before they went over to bomb overseas and shit. So yeah, crazy. But like it was basically it was like a place where people would like, I guess, work around the airport, and eventually it get expanded beyond that. But now it's still like this international airport place and whatever. And like in September 11th in the 9/11 incident, like it was a huge hub for a lot of the airspace that was like around North America. Like they landed like 15,000 people in Gander, which is like double our population. So like for 2 weeks, like there was like people everywhere, and like everybody was just like making sandwiches and like providing food and drinks, like whatever we could do to help these people, and that's
how old were you when that went down?
I was 10. Yeah. And that's like, but I think that's a testament to what Newfoundlanders are like too. It's like Newfoundlanders are very like helpful people, and we like to just kind of reach out and do what we can to if people help people in need, in that case, and whatever that was. So that's where I grew up.
So what, like you said, 5,000 people?
10,000.
10,000. Well, that's the population. 10,000.
Yeah, pretty much the same. So it's a small town. I mean, the whole like Newfoundland itself is like 500,000. The whole province, 500,000 people.
Okay.
So small place, and like there's not like a ton of heavy metal there either, right? Like there's like we had our crew growing up and stuff like that who were into this type of shit, and people who got me into death metal, and like my cousins who got me into thrash and guitar and whatever. But like there's not like a huge scene with a bunch of bands. So like growing up there and playing metal, like you're kind of like an oddball, and you like, I mean, you find your group and your friends and who are into it, but it's like there's not many. So like it's tough. Like, if you play in bands, want to play shows, I mean, like where do you play? We used to play like high schools and like lunchtime concerts and shit like that, but also like some bars in like the city on the Avalon Peninsula. But like we never ever would like have like a big scene where there was a bunch of bands like traveling around and doing.
So let me rewind you back real quick. So if that was the case, we always like to know the origin of it all, dude. And a lot of people, it's either their parents' music or what's on the radio. It could be video game music or art, and it wasn't music, it was art first. what was the beginnings of your creative side, you know, wanting to create things as early as you could think of?
Well, I mean, I started piano when I was like 7. Started like, I mean, like writing music much later, but I mean, I started playing music at a pretty young age. I started playing guitar when I was 12, which I think is pretty common for most people. It's around the same age that like most people get into, you know, guitar and metal and start having fun with that type of stuff.
What was the first type of music you know, latched onto though at a young age before all that?
It was metal. It was definitely metal.
What were your parents listening to?
Not metal.
So, like, do you enjoy any of their music though?
Yeah, what was the popular style of music up there? Because I mean, actually, while you were talking about I just found out it's spelled Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
So I was looking up Newfoundland like it was Finland, and I was like, dude, it took me like
the Newfoundland
some weird spots.
I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't a place called Newfoundland somewhere though.
Which is probably. Yeah, it's above. I know there's a bunch of new stuff, but as far as so it's like basically located kind of northeast of Quebec and everything. It's kind of above all that too. So okay.
Yeah, it's just to the east of it. Like they're I laugh because that's like such a common mistake for people who first like hear the name, because that's just what it sounds like, you know. Newfoundland.
Say it.
So Newfoundland is what it sounds like, right? But it's spelled Newfoundland because it was like
it's kind of like Worcester when you go to Massachusetts, Worcester. It's like everyone's like, oh, go to
Worcester.
I've never heard that before. Crazy.
Yeah, when you go to like play the Palladium and stuff out there, you know, they always say like, oh, welcome to Worcester. It's like
Worcester.
Worcester. But it's like it's Worcester. Like they're just like fucking Worcester. How do you? So can you say it one more time for me? Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Don't think of like new something. Just make up a new word. Newfound.
It's like you just add an I instead of the OU. Newfoundland.
Yeah. Newfoundland. And I think it's just because of like how Newfoundlanders talk, because like there's a certain accent that I don't have. Like when I grew up, people were always like, yeah, what part of the mainland are you from? But like
the mainland, okay.
You're right.
Really, that's was like just Canada, when I asked you where you grew up, part of the reason why I asked you is because your accent isn't what I would expect from a Canuck, you know.
I don't even have a Canadian accent. Oh, crazy.
I mean, with Newfoundland, you do. With Newfoundland, you do. That's about it.
I don't. Okay. Maybe I'm not that. You know, I'm not that versed in other accents, but you sound just like I could have come across you in California, and I would think you'd been from here too.
Sweet. Cool. All right, it as a compliment.
Thank you. Someone was asking earlier about gear. How did you get gear up there? They're wondering.
Oh shit. Yeah, we had to get boats sent across, you know, from Britain. Yeah, that were chartered specifically for Marshall stacks and PVs and I'm bullshit.
I know. I was like, you're fucking sailed those. No fucking way. I was like, you were like,
they would airdrop them in helicopter. Like, you know. We had music stores and shit. Like there was
super cutty, dude. Yeah.
You guys know Long McQuaid? You guys know the music store Long McQuaid up in Canada? It's basically the Guitar Center of Canada. It's
I was gonna say,
so they're in Newfoundland too. Yeah, for
like
a while.
Tim Hortons of music.
Tim Hortons of music. You got it, man. Same thing. I fucking love Tim Hortons.
I haven't had it in so long. I know. I've fucking missed Tim Hortons.
It's been a while since I've had some Tim Hortons. Yeah.
School me. What is Tim Hortons?
Do you guys think Tim Hortons is as good as Dunkin' Donuts? Like, is that?
I just remember them having more diversity in their food than Dunkin' Donuts had. That's what I remember. I mean, pretty much the only distinction I can make offhand.
Dunkin' Donuts has food?
But what about the coffee? Like Tim Hortons coffee is like
donuts?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a simpleton with coffee. Like because I didn't get into coffee until like my 32, 33 years old. So like I actually got into it from fucking Starbucks Pike's Place. Was just like, this actually tastes good, and I just got into coffie through that. And then Battle Forge Coffee came right after that.
And then
you can get the and never went back. It is. They do have great Battle Forge has great coffee too. But now I'm all over the place with coffee now. But just to get started with it, I remember just like there's like a comfort coffee when you first get it. It's like with anything, there's a food that got you into it or a drink that got you into it, and that was my drink. But I forget what Tim Hortons was like. Is it comparable to Dunkin' Donuts?
I honestly couldn't tell you. You know, I just I think I had Dunkin' Donuts maybe like twice on tour, and I just did not like it. But I can't tell if that was because I was too drunk or if I just didn't like it. Bottom, just period, you know. But like
went to Oklahoma.
My thing, if I'm drunk, donuts aren't what I want to eat, dude. I want to sit down.
I want garbage Taco Bell or something.
Big old nah, not even that. Like if I'm gonna if like a cafe, like a Denny's or something, where or a Mel's drive-through. Is it called Mel's drive-through or Mel's Diner? Either way, just like
Denny's,
where everything's cooked on a fryer. You can get like a sampler platter of a bunch of nasty ass foods that your body hates but you love at the moment. You know,
Duncan Hills.
That's something we forgot to discuss with Dave the other week was Denny's experiences. We've had some good. I remember in Seattle, Denny's with that dude. I don't know. Late at night. Denny's is great. I agree. Late at night. I mean, anytime in any state, Denny's is cool. Like it.
I mean, it's
at 2 a.m. Like
when you're drunk, Denny's is amazing. But like if you're like a sober person at like 2 a.m, you're like, let's go to Denny's. They're like, yep, it's Denny's. It's weird. Like my fucking hands are stuck to the table. It's fucking gross. Like fucking like everything's just all sticky and like subpar. But when you're drunk, that's why I Taco Bell for me. Just stuff like that's like when you're drunk, it's like you're like, oh my god, and like when you're sober, you're like, fuck, this is like. This is a bummer. What's going on? You know, just the alcohol kind of the drunken munchies are a thing. It's like kind of being stoned when you're a kid, and you'll get like Doritos with like a fruit candy, and then like and you'll mix them like all the different flavors up, and you're just like, I don't give a shit. You just eat it all because you're just high.
I'm coming up on 40, and now my high munchies are literally like eat a fucking salad, dude. But my drunk munchies are like,
oh gosh,
pile. Give me a pyramid of fried. A varied fried collection of things that I can dip into other things. All right.
So enough about was poutine a thing up there though? I know poutine that's like a thing we always talk about, but as far as Americans,
poutine's probably the ultimate drunk food.
Okay,
you don't even have
to,
actually it's even I would argue that
bacon on it. You have some steak. Dude.
I would argue that it's more of a drunk food than what I said because the step of dipping it into something is already handled, dude. Whatever it's on top of it. Dude.
Depends how drunk you are.
Just grab a fork, dude, and start stabbing at it, dude.
There's no errors that can be made.
And dip anything.
Yeah, and there's just cheese curds in it. You're just like, it's like a fry with already gravy applied to it and a cheese curd along with that, and it's like.
Like, why don't we have this all over America? What's going on?
I saw it at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's.
I know it's not the same, dude.
I know it can't.
It's good. It's good, but it ain't the same, dude. It's
can't be like there's no way it can be the same.
Poutine fucking shit. It's great, dude. Perfect party food. That's a great comparison. Yeah.
All right. So aside from poutine, what else were you doing in Canada?
Shredding.
So that's what I'm saying. All right, so you started with the piano. How long did that go?
No, not long. I mean, I wanted to play. I guess I got introduced to death metal, not death metal, but like metal in general by like my family.
First metal?
Like my aunt and uncle, my cousins when I was probably like 9, 10, and it was mostly like power metal, heavy metal. You know, like Sonata Arctica and Camelot and Sabotage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, all that type of stuff.
Nice.
And it never I would just go to their house and like sit on the couch and like we'd watch like Nightwish, like watch a show and like it would be sick. But I never really it never resonated, in the same way. But then I still wanted to start a band with my friend, around the age of 10, and we'd like listen to stuff like I don't know System and shit like that. Around that time it was popular. And I think what really got me into it and like really made it stuck was when I was 12, I got Kill 'Em All, and shortly after I got Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest, and I got my guitar when I was 12. So then I just basically stuck with it at that point, and I just kind of kept going. But I mean, I was always at the start like a musician first and like a metalhead after. No offense or anything, but like I'm just saying, like I fucking love metal, it's my favorite. But I'm just saying, like it's it's like something that like when I started guitar, like I just basically tried to learn everything I possibly could, you know, whether it was metal, whether it was like rock or like a little bit of country. Like my first teacher was a country teacher. And like part of that was because of like where I lived, and like there wasn't many options around. And also too, like he was like a member, he was a friend of my parents and whatever. And it was like convenient. So like, and he's a good player, and yeah, he's a full-time musician and stuff. So it made sense. But I learned some country stuff from him, and I was like totally down for it, you know, just to learn as much about all kinds of different music as I possibly could. But I mean, the bands that I played in, like the ones that stuck were like, more, I mean, stuck for like a short term in junior high and high school, were like basically like metal bands, you know, thrash and death metal. And we would do like a little bit of Burzum and shit like that, some black metal stuff, you know, but like nothing, you know, like we never did any classic rock cover bands or anything like that. You know, it was always metal in that sense. But as a guitarist, I was always like a musician first, and I would absorb everything that I could.
That's awesome. So you started pretty like what kind of the phase I'm at in my, like I'm talking about all the time. There's like chicken picking guys and these country guys. I'm just like, I don't even know what the fuck you're doing. And you know, it's like complete different shred to me watching country players now, like that are like doing like the like all the fucking finger picking and just like doing all the hammer-ons, open strings in the middle of shit. And I'm just like, I need that slowed down so slow to understand what the fuck's going on. Like that shit completely blows my mind.
Yeah, country players are next level. Like some of those bluegrass players and country players are just off the charts. Like it's
banjo,
the scary part about it, banjo too,
out.
Man. Yeah. But and the crazy thing about the guitar too is it's fucking clean, man. There's no distortion. So you got to make sure every single note is just like just perfect, you know. And like if it's not, then it's I mean it's tough. Like it's relentless, you know. You had to be so precise. It's like mad respect for country players.
That was kind of like you know who brought that to light to me was Buckethead. Because Buckethead would just like back when I was younger, he would just randomly go into chicken pick and like was the stand right here,
man.
Yeah, just going. I was like, what the fuck is like just adding that to your arsenal randomly, like in your shred show, just like adding like, oh, I can do this style that like no one's really it's gonna go over most people's heads, but it's I don't know, just the proficiency of that. Like you said, it's clean. Yeah. So like if you fuck up one note going like like if you fuck up like one thing, it's gonna like fucking it's like a nightmare to me. It's like that shit that they're playing.
So as a guitar player, would you compare that to being a drummer and finding a new blast beat or something like that? Like is that comparable? As
not unless your videos are edited.
Chicken picking as a guitar player?
I feel like a chicken picking would be more like, I don't know, like as a drummer.
I know.
Like, fuck, I'm not a drummer,
Casey.
really. I mean,
Casey,
like, here we go, Casey.
I guess it's more just like jazz drumming to other versions of drumming.
I mean, like blast beat started in jazz drumming. Am I correct? Like Tony Williams, I believe, is the guy who invented the blast beat.
You know who invented the blast beat? I know who it is.
Wasn't it Tony Williams?
Man.
Joel invented
I was gonna say
on his desk.
He's gonna say that no, he's gonna say he's gonna say that old Pete Sandoval video. He's like, I invented the blast beat.
Nah, there's recently there's
dude.
Video of dude in the 60s, and Casey says there's somebody before that.
I know who did it. There was a caveman back in like the old days who like they were having some fire dance, and he took his bones
he just did
on like a skull of I don't know an animal. And just started going. There's your blast beat, dude. Oh, roll is a blast beat. Like totally. So, who the first drum roll?
Yeah,
is a. I mean, so you know, I'm just saying. I think cavemen invented blast beats. To be honest.
Wow.
Maybe even before that, animals. Maybe there was an animal.
I thought he literally was gonna
fucking chimpanzees.
You know? Back to animals.
I think it was Well, okay. The 2001.
God invented the blast.
The apes with the like. You know, when they first the monolith and all that, whatever. But like any creature that could like hold things and then go like this, like and it must have been like a Neanderthal.
I don't know. At that level, it would just be like discovering that you can make a rhythm. I don't think the blast beat was on.
Does it not? Okay, so the first human blast beat has to be.
Yeah.
Blast beat.
Human recorded blast beat.
Yeah.
Humans, Homo sapiens.
Let's narrow it down a little bit. Let's throw some filters on this.
Yeah, it's like the what age Homo habilis?
We're talking about recorded, like we could cite it as a musician.
Yeah, they didn't record anything. There's no way. I mean, they didn't.
Just because if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, I mean, it's like
that's true.
I'm just saying, dude.
That's a good point.
The first guy, like the scene with the apes in 2001 where they're like banging the things. It's kind of like drumming. So how fast? If it comes 200 beats a minute or faster, is it suddenly a blast?
It's just a whole.
Like
it's a blast
hammering. Like okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
I think you're onto something, man.
I mean, I think he's probably right. But the thing is, that's like as far as recorded blast beat, like I think there's jazz and like Buddy. I don't know. Is Buddy Rich? I'm not a drummer. Like is Buddy Rich?
Maybe that was the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the invention of percussion came before notes. Really, it was more just hitting things and hearing the sound.
We got Ian from Sick Drummer should just go in and just let us know, dude.
What are you talking about, dude? Ian's got footage of that caveman you're talking about, dude. The other fucking drummers on it.
I would say though, if you're gonna go with drummers and you're gonna go with the jazz era, just go Tony Williams. Just there you go, boom. All right. Tony Williams officially invented the blast beat. That's my.
So who was he playing with, and what year was that?
Because he was known for like doing fast, crazy ass shit. Tony Williams, dude.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, you gotta always treat me like a dummy when we're talking.
I listen to a bunch of his self-help.
Oh, don't worry, I will. Let's get it. Tony Williams. Look him up. Look him up, dude. I don't know where to begin. Like he's. I'm not the professor. You gotta text him.
I know. Professor needs to get up on here, dude.
I don't get paid enough for that job. I'm gonna get
a lesser.
I'm not gonna look it up for you.
I know, but so you know the name just from like the musician.
Tony Williams.
All right. Check out Tony Williams. I'm post show. I'm gonna have to do that.
Read his
Wikipedia right
what
now.
Was your Ian? How did you? Okay, so we want going into metal. You said it was power metal and that type of shit. How did you eventually get to death metal? And what was the first death metal band you heard?
Oh fuck! I played in a band with some friends who were like a little bit older than I was, and probably like Cryptopsy. I would say like Phobophile was probably like we were like just like trying to cover it too, at the age of like 14, like trying to just like make that happen. But like it was tough, dude. But like, we love that shit. Phobophile, Graves of the Fathers, that album, Nuns of Vile, just so good.
Totally, dude.
Probably that one. I would say like some Disgorge too. I listened to like quite a bit of Disgorge like back in the day.
Was it your bandmates that was trading music with you or whatever?
Yeah. Like, I mean, there was a drummer actually that I like played with, and a bass player, and actually another vocalist and stuff too. And these guys were all like a little bit older than I was, and I joined the band after the fact. And they had music that I had never really listened to before, and they're like, you got to check out some death metal, because I was listening to, I guess, like Bodom. Children of Bodom. I think I had like a little bit of necrophagus at that point, like before I really got into like the more brutal stuff. And most of that was because of the shred. Like I would hear it and I'd be like, holy fuck, like this is crazy. And then like the appreciation for the riffs and stuff came after that, and that was like, I think after joining that band with my friends, and they were like, hey, like you got to listen to this. And I was like, oh, that's fucking sick,
So Muhammad was the first death metal growl you heard?
The first that's a good question. I don't know. The first death metal growl that I heard. I mean, Lord Worm is a high contender, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you said Cryptopsy. Yeah.
Yeah, Lord
and that was the question for me too. Like, how did you? Because that's always the big thing is how would you, like, when you're listening to like more power metal stuff, like stuff along those lines. When you first hear vocals like that, I know for all of us, it's kind of like a. There's some people we've interviewed before that are like, oh, I heard those vocals and I was in. For a lot of people,
I wasn't turned off. My first.
A lot of people were just like kind of like laughing. Like there's a lot of laughs that start when they first hear it for the first time, because they're like used to hearing like or just as far as like death metal growls.
Oh,
like,
death metal. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like hearing those vocals for the first time when you have to like transition, when you're kind of like trying to find more extreme music, and then you hear the growl for the first time. Yeah. I love watching people see it for the first time. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Just like their face is just going like, oh, it's like all awkward. Like it's like it's a bunch of emotions going on at once. And I remember me at the same time too, when I was a young kid when I first heard it, because my brother was listening to like all the death metal when I was a little kid. And my dad was in my ear going like, shit sucks, you know, like this, like, and he's a musician too. So I was like, okay, it must suck. But at first I was like, what the like completely blown away. Didn't know what was going on. Thought it was a comedy thing in the beginning. But how did you take hearing those kind of vocals for the first time?
You know, I couldn't actually tell you, to be honest. Like, I mean, like it's hard for me to say because I think a lot of the music was more about the guitar.
The music,
and, like, the riffs and stuff. Yeah, and like I mean, I appreciate death metal vocals. I mean, like, was a huge fan of Bloodbath like around that time, and like Michael Ackerfeld's vocals. Like that was my favorite vocalist. You know, like when I was in high school. Yeah, it was just so good, and his ability to go between singing and death metal vocals was just flawless. You know, it was so
murdering on both sides. He's
just so good, man. Too. Yeah, fuck yeah. You know, Peter Tagrin as well. I mean, incredible.
That's interesting I guess with something like Necro too, as a guitar player, you're just like, I don't have time to listen to this. I got to focus on just one thing that is fucking going on right here. Yeah.
I mean, I was like I was never into like the power metal and stuff like that at that age, but I was definitely into like Malmsteen and Bodum and like Symphony X and bands like that had like more shreddy stuff, and I was like, oh, I need to like try to do this. But like the death metal stuff came around, and I remember like the vocals being like pretty natural to a certain degree. I mean, like I can't remember exactly like my first. I wish I did, because that would have been great. But like I think I accepted it right away because I was doing vocals in the band at that time too, and like I actually had to do it, and I wanted to do it. You know, it was a thing, a choice that I had made. It wasn't like this thing, oh, we need a vocalist. Who's going to be the vocalist? Like I was already singing at that point in bands and shit. I was like took singing lessons when I was a kid and whatever. And then I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to like do vocals too. So I would try to do it. And it was fucking tough, man. That was probably like my first memory was like how much it hurt my fucking throat, you know, like trying to do that shit. Cause I didn't have anybody to teach me, you know, and
I got pretty hoarse after this last weekend.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done it in so long, dude, and man, the recovery from it is a lot longer than it used to be.
Should we?
I also caught some shit. Everybody was hugging and shaking hands all weekend, and everybody.
Yeah, everyone's saying they got like COVID from that festival. That's what I keep seeing posted.
I'm sniffling right now into the mic. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like a NAMM festival. It's like you go to NAMM, like everyone get the NAMM thrax, like come back like all sick.
I was definitely comparing it to the NAMM thrax. I was actually trying to come up with some other kind of name, couldn't come up with one in time.
But yeah, no, that's
something that would
techniques for. I'm noticing. I'm watching like these like. Singers that have to do like crazy vocals every night for like all the gurgles and whatever the fuck they're doing, every high or low and all the things. It's like I've watched like these videos from these like vocal coaches, and they're all just teaching you how to like survive for a long period of time doing it. Because I know even the singer of Slipknot, Corey, like I remember his voice was like after when he was first getting big, they were just like on tour for 2 years, like, and he has to do it every night. And like his voice was like, there was a point where I think where his voice was like done. They were like, no, your voice is, you can't do that anymore. And
stamina is the hardest thing, dude.
New technique, yeah.
At my getting ready for this show, it was the stamina that I was paying attention to the most. It's harder to sustain it for an hour. It didn't even have a warm up set. No half an hour thing, dude. We had to do it for an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's. Dude, for me, even just like same experience as Ian. Just I mean, I would puss out and like I had like a cool growl, like a deep growl, and like people are like ODS would be like, you guys gotta do it, like do it in the mic, like while you're playing, and I would do it. I'm like, no, it's like I'm going. I'd start like coughing. Like I would like.
We would always set up a mic, and it almost just turned into a joke because we knew he wasn't going to use it. But
because there's a part where like multiple people were just going like doing like a yell out, and I would just be like, all right, I'll join you guys, and then I'd go up to the mic. I mean, we're in the middle of a fucking crazy song, and I'm like, it's taken care of.
Here's a good question about. I thought I clicked it. How did you find the synchronization? Oh my god! How would you find the synchronization between playing and singing simultaneously? That shit's tough. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that was really tough. I mean, like I wasn't playing like Necrophagist and doing vocals at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't anything like that. Like we would do, I don't know, Lamb of God covers.
Yeah.
We'd do like, Pantera covers.
Sick.
Yeah, shit like that, right? We had some like originals and stuff like that, but it was
still
never
riffing.
like super crazy riffs.
You're still riffing and having to like put your mind on like autopilot, and then like what do you focus
the key
more
is
on?
to get one thing like autopilot, like you said, just like, play your guitar enough, you don't have to think about it. I guess for me, it was like the guitar was first, so it was easier for like just to get the riffs and just kind of like play it. But then I would have to focus on the vocals and be able to do that after. So this was like just kind of doing its thing. But I mean, there's always like there's a bandwidth limit in your brain too. So like if you're doing like a certain amount of stuff, like your brain actually is just gonna fucking implode. Like you have to like increase your RAM or something so you can like detect your riffs or something while you're doing vocals. Like
a mental RAM.
Muhammad's running like 128 gigabytes of RAM on that shit, dude. Like that's crazy. Like I was never doing anything like that. But I definitely spent quite a bit of time doing guitar and vocals. But it was never anything super technical. Like a lot of the stuff that I play these days on guitar and Soreption, like I wouldn't try to do vocals on it.
So
like to do what Fred does, like it would be hilarious. Like it would just
memorize
be so bad.
What note you're going to be saying a line, and then once you start doing the line, that becomes autopilot while you're still paying attention to the guitar. Basically, your mouth is on autopilot.
No. Are you saying if you tried
that? Is it a feel thing, or do you actually know, okay, I'm about to play this chord or this note, and that's when the line starts, and then your mouth just does like an automatic thing while you're still mainly focused on playing your instrument? That's my whole thing. Are you trading? Is it like a thing where everything goes autopilot for the time that you're doing vocals while playing guitar, or is there one thing you're paying attention to more? Obviously, I would think the guitar would be
interesting. I guess it's like backwards, huh?
Yeah, I would say it'd be vocals, right? Because
the guitar, vocals. Yeah,
you pay attention to the vocals more while you're doing it. Well, maybe it's because it's something
like, that's more standard, right?
Because I guess you're so muscle memory and all that stuff with the guitar. The thing that the foreign thing that you're bringing into this comfortable area of playing your instrument, now you got to use your mouth too. I guess, that would make sense that you would pay attention to what you're saying and doing.
Nicole actually, because Nicole does that. Nicole with Calius does that. So I always feel like it's got to be guitar, autopilot, and then you're like have to work on or do vocals, not worrying about just like I have the guitar down, so now I need to work on the timing of the vocals and everything. But
I think it's important to do one thing at a time. I think that's the key. It's like you have to get one thing. And it's like you talk about it like in teaching guitar and stuff for technique. It's you do like one kind of technique. You want to get sweeping down. You want to play Stab Wound. That like the solo from Stab Wound. The E minor sweep with 24 tap. You do that. I mean, first you want to sweep. You get it sweeping down.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna tap. You know what I mean? And then once you tap, then you're okay. Now I'll sweep tap. Yeah, but you got to get one thing first, and you got to like get that to a point where it feels like okay, I can do this without having to think too hard about it, and it sounds good. And then try to like get another technique, and then A plus B equals C, that kind of thing.
It's probably good to start with like doing chords and just singing, right? That's probably a good way to just like kind of get the idea of both together, and then you can worry about like stab like doing all that.
It might be a good place to start. I mean, rhythm. Like imagine if you had terrible rhythm and you had to play like Necrophagist riffs tight and do vocals at the same time. Just like I mean,
work.
Yeah, all right. But my thought on it is like kind of like comparing what's like more like general and like more like common, and then like comparing that to metal and stuff, And I think like generally, like I think most like styles of music, like the guitar is going to be more simple and kind of automated, like chords, and you're going to focus more on the singing. So like when Anthony was talking about. It's like
TV and play.
Where's your focal point? Like what you're going to be focused on. Then there's going to be the background kind of like like that automated part. So it's like for me, if I was thinking of like playing, say like grunge or something, like I'd be like the guitar is just kind of automated, but I'm like singing is like the focus, And I feel like for most styles, like that's kind of the thing. But I think it changes once you start getting more technical with what you're playing underneath that. You have to like your brain starts to have to like, or even thinking of like.
Go back
piano,
and forth.
like it's like the concept of accompanying yourself. So that's a very common thing. Like I'm accompaniment. I'm playing my own accompaniment. I can play piano and sing, or I can play guitar and sing. But like But like I was watching this like Stuart Copeland interview kind of talking about Sting like recently about like how he had to really practice singing over the bass lines because they were kind of like not just like simple root notes and you know, like eighth notes. So like he'd have to like those rhythms in the bass parts, you have to really practice like singing over that, you know, kind of thing. So I think the more complex what you're doing underneath matches what you're singing, it creates, you have to practice more basically. And then I think the other thought too that's interesting is reversing that thought, because like if you're not singing melodically necessarily, like what you're playing way more complex, but the singing is more monotone, like growls and stuff, it could almost flip, and then you're focused more on what you're playing, and the singing is just like, but you're playing is like crazy. It's almost like the opposite, you know. But I don't know because I can't really sing and play. So.
I think that death metal vocals are more on the percussion side of the band.
Yeah, and is there like more of a percussion? Yeah, that's true too. It's kind of like depends. It depends on the style of metal. It depends on everything, dude.
And it makes sense that I thought that you guys would be paying attention to guitar, or well, paying attention to your vocals because it's the foreign thing that comes in. But that's just me talking from a person who only does one thing. And my main thing is to use my mouth. I don't hit anything. I don't play anything.
Well, we know you play things, but just do one thing at a time.
Yeah. I was a drummer in a grindcore band. All right. Okay, so what's the name of the band that we were talking about? The cover band that was doing all those Pantera and all those covers.
Oh, yeah. We used to.
What was the name of it though?
Oh, we had. They had a bunch of different names. Like I think the one name we had, Silent Vigil, was one name that we had, and we had another name that was Albedo. Albedo was the band with one vocalist who I guess went to school at one point, and like he left town and went to another place to like basically pursue school. And then we changed the name to Silent Vigil, and it was me on vocals. Before that, Albedo was like him on vocals, and I was just playing guitar. So yeah, we would do like covers. We also had like an EP of stuff that we had worked on, and like it was more like thrash, death metal type shit, like very death inspired, I would say. But it was, for fun, we would just cover whatever the hell we wanted to cover, like Lamb of God, Pantera, anything like that. I mean, there was death covers too, obviously. I think we covered Scavenger and Spirit Crusher and probably some shit from ITP.
So how'd you dig? How'd you dig? Did you just use the internet mostly to come across all your metal that because we like to know the rabbit hole. Like, did you trade stuff with your homies the most? Did you hit record? Was there a good record store in town or near town that you could go to that had some decent, a decent metal section? How are you finding all your stuff? Because you were 10 in 2001, so you're only a couple years younger than us.
Yeah,
you're 36.
Me?
Yeah,
no, 30. I'm 33.
Shit,
my math was a little
I tried to go quick.
Wasn't my math. Joel
it's funny
the deep end on that one.
It's funny how Anthony is all like, I'm coming up on 30 or coming up on 40 and all this, and it's like we've all turned 40 and we've been 40 for a couple years, and it's just like
I just turned 40.
He just turned 40. I would like to rub it in on Joel.
But Joel's already old. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't.
I know. 40 is saying. I'm still in my 30s though, dude. So don't take that away from me, dude.
No,
I'm
gonna take it away from you.
3 weeks. 3 weeks to my 30s is left, basically.
Dude, time is gonna take it away from you in a couple days, right? Are you? What's your birthday? Are you in October?
The 26th.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like 3 weeks away.
Yeah. Good.
You're 40, dude.
You deserve it.
In case he's trying to pull that fucking rug out from underneath me right now.
You're already 40, dude.
I just can't wait for you to already be 40, and then you're just gonna realize
so nobody can still
even matter anymore. Nobody cares.
No.
I mean, like, it's that whole like, nobody cares, work harder thing. It's like nobody cares, you're old. Like,
yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm 40, and then after you turn 40, you're like, oh, nobody gives a fuck. Like,
it actually is
30,
really
I'm old, and no one cares. Like, because we're all old.
Well, if it means anything, I thought all you guys were in your 30s.
So. Oh well, thank you.
There you go.
We're looking good, guys. We're handsome men still.
Yeah. Anyways,
all right. So you said you were writing originals in that band too. What was the originals? What would you compare it to?
probably more like death and shit like that. Like there's definitely some black metal inspiration there. We used to cover a bunch of Buddhism stuff like Lost Wisdom and more or less because the guy who was in the band, the vocalist, was a huge fan of them. So we would cover a bunch of their shit. But when he left the band, we kept doing it in Sound Vigil side to do like Varg vocals, which is probably the most painful experience. Because it's basically just agonized screaming. There's no technique whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
So like we would we would write some songs and shit, but we never really had like an album put together that was like something we would release, because the band didn't last very long. I mean, these guys, I was in grade 10 and these guys were older than I was. So like, after grade 10, I was 15, these guys moved away to school. And I was just like, there by myself in Gander with nobody to play with. So I was like, oh shit, like, I don't have a band anymore, So it was kind of tough in that sense. We didn't have enough time to really like simmer and to really like create like a full album and EP and whatever. But I mean, I was playing the band since I was 12 years old, but we never really had something that lasted long enough, I think, to really get to that point.
The fruit was still green. It needed
very green. Very green. Yeah. But it was good though. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And the guy like jammed with those guys like later in life too. When I moved to St. John's to town, where they had moved, when they left school, and like it was just as good as it was when I was like in high school. But we never really like spent the time like writing like a ton of stuff. It was more just about jamming and fun at that point. I think at that stage in my life, I was more like trying to like figure out how to make a living as a musician, and like having people to jam with like was like basically like a luxury in a sense, and it was like a lot of fun, and I didn't want to spoil that. I didn't want to like make it too much of like this work kind of thing or whatever. So like, and we found it hard to find members and stuff too. So it was kind of this way that I could like, I guess, play music that I really liked. And just basically like write some riffs, write some songs, but never had to be too serious about it and have like a full album out. And it only lasted like a year again after the fact too, like when we jammed later too, because then I moved to Edmonton, and then like I didn't know anybody here, so I had to meet new people here and start forming bands around this area of Canada.
Why did you make the move?
Man, I was just getting eaten up in Newfoundland, dude. I mean, not eaten up, but I was just like, couldn't stand it anymore. Like I went to school and I was going to like do engineering, and I basically like was going to pursue, like I wanted to pursue music, but there was no like degree like around I could pursue music and do. It was like a classical degree, and I had fingerpicked and stuff. I did like Kiwanis music festivals when I was a kid, for classical guitar, but I didn't want to like, I always followed my heart, and I didn't want to like, to do something like classical music just for the sake of having a degree so I could become a professional musician or whatever. So like I basically just was like, fuck this, I'm going to drop out of school. I said, like, to my parents' demise, I dropped out of engineering, and after 1 year, and I just like basically played covers and did like busking and open mics and whatever I could possibly do to like make it happen. But I mean, like,
that's cool.
I was more focused on like making a living than like producing like art in a band that, what I mean? So like,
how are your parents
with songs and shit? Well, I mean, like, it's the parents, they don't like, at the first, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
what how old were you at the time?
I mean, probably like 20, 21, 20.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would have been 19 originally, because I went to school for 1 year at 18 and then like dropped out at 19.
But I do feel like you have like a really like you're pretty logical. Like you have a lot of a logical base in at a young age saying like, how am I going to make money with this? A lot of us when we're younger, or when we were younger, being old men that we are, I'm just kidding. Was that we were kind of like had the mindset of like, we just got to fucking go all in and give it, like make sure that this is our thing and blah blah blah. So for you, I feel like you had a more logical approach to like, how am I going to make money at this? How is this actually going to happen? And you said like, I had friends, teaching you guitar or whatever when you were younger that were country guitar players and doing it for a living already. It wasn't, they weren't in Motley Crue or anything. They weren't like, fireworks and doing all the crazy stuff that we watch on TV and stuff. Did you have like a more logical perspective of what music could be, or basically how to succeed with music?
I mean, I don't think there's any logical way to approach that.
I was going to say.
I mean, no, I mean, better
it's
than
always
us.
a shot
Better
in the
than
dark,
us.
and you're
Better than us. You're better
At
than us.
19, you're going to.
I mean,
the
I
big
was
city to play
following my
death
heart
metal.
100%. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah, but
just
you
going
had
for
like
it.
engineering, like a lot of people don't do all that. They don't have all those factors in the background. I mean,
Yeah.
they
I didn't
didn't
finish
do
it.
that, all that. They didn't. Maybe they do now. But I'm saying like they didn't back in the day. It was kind of like once you get a fucking record contract, you just go, and then like you're got. And I actually dropped out of high school, out of college, junior college. Once I found out we got signed, I was like,
Damn.
we got signed, dude. I'm gonna, it's like really dumb.
You made it.
It's a 19, 20-year-old move, just like fucking. I'm actually was in a music class at the time. I was in like a classical guitar class, I think, and I was like, I wanted to learn the basics of everything, but I wasn't like interested. I am way interested now, but like at the time, I was like, like I'm just here to just kind of figure everything out and try to get ideas and stuff like that. But it was kind of a lot of people that I knew around my age group were kind of like, just get to the touring and start doing all that stuff, and then you're good. It's kind of like, and I feel like you had more a logical approach that I appreciated.
But you grew up in California, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, I like the place where I grew up. I mean, maybe if I grew up where you did, I wouldn't have been as logical, because like I think it's a byproduct of like the environment, so like it's like where I was, it was like there was no opportunity to go on tour. There wasn't many bands, there wasn't much of a scene. So like if I wanted to like make it or whatever, if I wanted to like basically be able to pay rent, like I had to like just play fucking covers, and just like busk and shit. But I mean, like I still like played metal, and I would practice like 8 hours a fucking day and just sit there and play scales until my head wanted to explode, and like and just do all the shit I needed to do to get better.
They weren't shiny. There wasn't a shiny
metal at the same time. Like
there wasn't like a shiny carrot location with your geography. There wasn't a carrot that you could see that was like with shows going on and like big scenes out there, big like venues having shows and stuff.
Like Montreal.
Metal and stuff.
I mean, like Montreal was a go-to, obviously. Like
that was
that's
like my favorite
spot.
Yeah.
Poutine
definitely.
And death metal.
But so every time busking, you would go play out on the street and throw out. Nice.
Yeah, I used to. I mean, busk whatever, dude. I mean, like I said, I used to like play all kinds of shit. But I mean, like country stuff or just like covers of
what's the
like
best day?
Rock. But I would also busk necrophages too.
Hell yeah,
nice.
Yeah, dude, and I did that a lot in Edmonton as well. I used to
tell us about your best day busking.
Powered amp and just play fucking Stab Wound and Diminish to Be, and people actually love it. It's interesting actually, because like when you like omit a lot of like the death metal from it, like the really intense like production where it's super compressed in your face, and it, like with the like I guess drums and like the super heavy vocals and shit, like people who don't like death metal like actually appreciate the guitar because it's so neoclassical, and there's a lot of like really interesting counterpoint and like lots of cool music theory shit. So if you're into like I don't know, Debussy or fucking Beethoven or Rachmaninoff and all these guys, you can hear kind of like some shit in Necrophages that's reminiscent of that. So people walking down the street, if you play them Stab Wound, they're like, oh wow, that's a really nice piece, like they can appreciate. You can appreciate it for what it is, and that's
did
like
you play it clean, so that would even, or did you still have distortion on it?
Oh yeah, distortion for sure, man, 100%. Yeah, fuck yeah. No, you can't do that with clean. No way. Like, I mean,
it would be cool to hear a Stab Wound like piano cover or some shit like that.
Yeah, agreed. That would be a great idea, but that's like I would have to play it, I guess, better than I did because it would be.
There's some other dude who does that all the time, and he plays like all Necrophagus stuff. He's got like short hair. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I think I saw a flute cover of Necrophagus one.
This guy's playing guitar.
That was pretty rad.
Yeah.
Oh man, the clarinet. Dude, that was like one of my introductions to fucking Necrophagus.
What's the one you hold sideways?
Oh, the clarinet one. Yeah,
the flip. Yeah, that's a different one. I thought you were talking about the guy who played for a minute off
or
of Discharge.
Clarinet. This?
No, I was talking about this is some guy who plays guitar, and he does that what you were doing. Like he like plays out like on the street corner and kind of like right, Is that what you're talking about? Like right? Is that what
just
that
busking
is?
on the corner? Just
that's what busking is. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, busking, dude. I mean, you
gotta
do. But I would busk anything, man.
Yeah.
Whatever I can. Yeah. Necrophagus, death.
Tell me about your best day, your best busking day. What? Tell us the number you came home with.
I'm embarrassed to say.
No, dude, come on. I mean, dude.
You mean financially or just
yeah,
I want to know
good point. Financially, or what do you mean financially?
Okay, let's hear both. I want to hear the day that you feel like you did the best busking, and then I want to know how much you brought home on your best day.
Okay, let me see. I mean, I think like $1,000. Yeah, right.
1,000.
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah, maybe take off my shirt.
That'd be crazy.
Like,
280 is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing 280.
100 grand.
No, it was like 250. Yeah, one time.
Oh,
and then the reason for it was like an 8-hour day, and then the one reason why it happened was because like I guess it's different in California, but the one reason is because they played Wonderwall. Okay, I played fucking Wonderwall, and it was because some guy came up and he was like, "Yo, dude, I had like a sick day. You know, like our business did really well." And yeah, he was like, you know, if we had a good day, you should have a good day too. And he was like, "Can you play Wonderwall?" And I was like, "How much money you got?" So like, yeah, that was it. But I mean, like, it was basically like, you know, that kind of thing. But I would say for like a good day in terms of like, music that I appreciated and something that I actually wanted to play, I mean, was probably like out in front of the Black Dog and in Edmonton on White Avenue, like playing like.
I'm thinking about you. I'm seeing you out there, and then you see certain pockets of people that show up, and you're like, "What's the most popular song that I know offhand right now that I could play that would get enough people's attention to drop me some coin before they cross the street?"
Pretty much, man. Yeah, how can you turn some heads? And Wonderwall seems to do it. You know, that's like.
Did you sing it or just play it?
I think they sang it, so it was fine.
I
you don't have to sing along.
I just had to play the chords. I think they were drunk too, so it didn't even matter if I played the chords wrong. So I don't even know if I played it right, to be honest.
That's the perfect. That was the perfect customer, dude. Is a drunk
money,
a drunk that wants to do karaoke real quick.
I don't know why I could never get Oasis. I don't know why, but yeah.
No, neither could I, dude. I don't know.
They just got back together, right?
Yeah,
there's a bunch of funny stuff with just like there's bets like how many days the tour is gonna go because I guess they hate each other. Like the brothers like hate each other.
We're gonna have another
fucking
Jane's Addiction situation where
Jane's Addiction is so much
rivalry that's been going on for decades is gonna happen.
Dude, someone released the sound guy or someone released the solo vocal take of Perry Farrell right before that whole thing happened. It's like, no, it was up until the whole thing and it shows the whole thing, and he was terrible. Like he was like one of the worst singers I've ever heard try to come back and like try to do a thing again. He's like him and then like Motley Crue. Like the two worst I've ever heard come back. I almost think
really,
Perry Farrell's worse.
Brutal, dude.
Worse than Motley Crue. Man, I still get a kick out of that video. With,
that video where there was like they put words under it.
Yeah, the word cheeseburgers 314.
They're all bad. They're all bad. But have you guys seen the song "Sherry Baby"? Sherry Baby, shit. So one of the guys from
Jesus, what a left field,
dude. No, this isn't left field. It makes sense because you're talking about guys who came back and sound like shit, right? There's
Beach Boys?
I don't know who the group is, but one of the guys is singing with a bunch of young dudes now, but he does lip singing of his parts. But his mouth,
the old guy,
his mouth
the old guy
moves.
He looks like a wax character.
His mouth barely moves. He's not selling it at all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was just
but we're talking about like actually people singing.
So this is why it's not left field. I'm saying at least these guys are coming back and trying. That guy is not even trying.
Yeah. The Perry Farrell stuff, I was like, I actually watched it this morning, and I was like, whoa, dude, he's just like making these crazy noises. He's not anywhere near the song. He's just like going nuts. He's like, that's him like losing his mind though. Like, so you could get to see like him like kind of into it to him getting angry. He starts saying "fuck you" to the crowd. He goes like "fuck you," and I was like, and I actually thought it was so bad that someone was like mouthing over it, like someone was dubbing over it because it was like funny or something, and it was actually the track. And
you know what wasn't bad? Is I saw Green Day this last weekend for the first time.
Hell yeah!
At Petco Park, like 10 years. Fucking go Padres, by the way. At Petco Park, fucking 40,000+ people. It was like the craziest show ever. It was fucking rad. It was
Do
like
they have a kid get on stage and play guitar? Whenever I see them, they usually
yeah. They had a girl like come on and she sang with them or something. But yeah.
No.
Anyways, Smashing Pumpkins played and Rancid and all these other. But yeah, I don't want to be long here. But the point is, Smashing Pumpkins great. Jimmy Chamberlain, one of my favorite drummers, badass as fuck. But
oh yeah, he's great.
Dude, Green Day is a very good live band. Like I was like,
yeah.
No,
wow.
I've seen
And they played all of Dookie. That's what I was mostly interested in hearing. But like, I was like, Jesus Christ, these guys are fucking good live, man. But yeah, whatever. Anyways,
what's the dude?
What you want about
the
Green Day?
singer's name? Billy Joe? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He came to Pacifica to skate in their skate park, dude. My wife met him. He got coffee at her place when she was working at a coffee shop. I'm like, you got to fucking meet that guy, and he just went and skated with a bunch of the P-Town kids and bounced, dude, because they're from Oakland or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're from
Oakland, like and all that. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, I'm done talking. Just
all right, Ian. What was the first band that you got the redemption where it ripened?
Shit. What do you mean? What's the question?
So okay, you were talking about a band that
I would say the same thing.
Was green.
I thought he was gonna run with it. I'm like, damn, dude, you're gonna answer that?
I'm going off of my metaphor from earlier. Sorry, I guess I'm too stoned and staying in my own metaphors right now. But I was talking about this. You were talking about this band that was, the fruit was green. It never ripened. What you got to have a first time where you're like, oh shit, I'm in a serious band. This is going well. What really pulled you into, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep going with music.
I guess I'm going to keep going with music because of, I just fucking love music. But I mean, band wise, I always try to have bands that I could play with. I tried here in Edmonton a bunch. I had some buddies I was jamming with, a bunch of different people. We put some stuff together. Tony Getchell, good buddy. Ty Dueck, good buddy. All these guys. We tried to write some music and get some shit together. Get drummers. Super tough to get those guys. To do anything, and if they're doing anything, they're in like 10 fucking bands. So it's super tough. So it was really difficult for me to find like a band to play with in Edmonton when I first came here, to be 100% honest. And it was like I put an ad up on Kijiji. do you guys have Kijiji in the States? It's like a classifieds website basically.
It's like a Craigslist. We have a Craigslist.
Same shit. Okay. So I put up an ad, or no, I was looking in one of the sections, and I found an ad. There was some people looking for like a death metal guitarist, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's fucking jam." So I went to a studio and hung out, and we kept jamming for a few years after that, but never really found drummers, and we had different members, and there was basically so much it was very difficult to get some shit together, to get a full album together, because people are just on different thinking places in their lives. I guess basically it's it's very difficult to find the magic formula. You have everybody who wants to do the same thing and to actually pursue what everybody else in the band wants to, and vice versa. So it's very difficult. So I wrote a bunch of shit, and it never really kind of got funneled into a band that ever played live like that or released anything. So eventually I released my own thing. And it's called Thanopraxia. I released it as an EP in 2018. Titled Thanatos. And I just took all the stuff that I had written for my. Did
you hire other musicians, or did you
did it all myself, man?
Drums too, or did you?
No, I did. I programmed the drums.
Okay,
but I didn't know jack shit about production and stuff either, man. I had recorded farts on Audacity when I was in junior high and high school. I didn't know how to record a fucking guitar, to save my life. So I had to learn shit, and it was a great learning experience in terms of how to take, stuff, just riffs, and to build an album, from scratch, or an EP. So I did that. I just released a bunch of shit, and I had a ton of fun doing it. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, it was so good.
Shout out Reef, dude. I met Reef in person.
That was a Green Day reference that he was making that I
know, but I'm just saying you popped him.
Oh, that went right over my head.
Got to give him a shout out real quick.
Reef. We gotta. Actually, I was just thinking while we were just talking just now. I was like, when he said that, I chuckled to myself, and I'm like, next birthday podcast, we're gonna make him get on. say some jokes.
Yeah, dude, he's a good dude, and he actually gifted me something really cool this weekend.
Whoa.
Yeah, he it's at the house. I forgot to bring it. I'll bring it next week if I remember. But he gave me a Carnivorous shirt that he got from Lacerated Enemy. So it's one of the European release shirts that I've never seen in person. It was just advertised in that split that we did with Vomit Remnants and Godless Truth, and he ordered one from back in the day, dude, and he lost some weight, so that's what's up, Reef. He doesn't fit into it anymore, so he's like, here, I'll give it to you. I don't fit into it either, but it's still a relic, you know, just something that you did 20 years ago that somebody it connected with Reefus, dude. It's just shout out fucking Guttural Reef, dude. That was sick as shit, dude. I'm so happy that I have one of those in a physical form, even though I can't wear it. Maybe I'll frame it and put it in my man cave that I'm eventually going to build.
Sick.
All right. So enough about me again.
Tell us more about your net. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast.
More about Anthony.
No. So you playing, getting to have full control of everything. Well, that was like a big deal as far as like you accumulating ideas, jamming with a bunch of people, getting to all kind of put the stuff that you're working on together, drum machine, get it all together. What became of that?
I mean, I didn't really think it was people were going to listen to it, and I nobody did. So it's great. Well, like I did it for myself, and I did it because I wanted to put something out there that was something that I had written. And I had all these like attempts with bands and just to get people on the same playing field or whatever. And it was tough. So I said, fuck it, do it myself. And,
was it internet release only, or is there some physical media?
Just internet, man, just digital. Yeah,
nice.
Made it on like a $500 laptop. I had like Keybase Elements and Addictive Drums. Yeah, just like really basic software. And like I just
vocals, or is it instrumental?
I did vocals, yeah. It's like I've been doing vocals for a long time, but like
what'd you write about?
Actually, the whole thing was themed on a series of books that my brother had given me when I was in high school. Written by Piers Anthony. Yeah, The Incarnations of Immortality. He gave me the first. Piers Anthony. Yeah, right there you go. Yeah, but he wrote about like these Greek gods, and it was like his play and like Greek mythology and basically like how like the gods work and whatever. So like basically these normal people can take the office of like a god, Kronos or Gaia or Thanatos and all this shit. So the first book is about Thanatos. It's about this guy who wants to kill himself, and death, the Grim Reaper comes, and it's like whenever you're going to die, the Grim Reaper comes, he judges your soul, right? So like the Grim Reaper comes and is about to judge his soul, and the dude gets fucking spooked and ends up killing the Grim Reaper. Then he becomes the Grim Reaper, and that's what happens. Like if you you kill death, you become death, basically.
Is that the myth? Is that the mythology of the Grim Reaper? If you kill the Grim Reaper, you become the Grim Reaper?
I don't know. I mean, but in this book, that's what
in your mythology.
In Piers Anthony mythology, and like Piers, like he had like a bunch of like different shit too. Like I mean, Tales of Xanath was like I think the big thing that he the big thing that he released. But like it's more or less about like this. I just loosely based it on that, just like that.
So that's like the intro to the. You said it was an EP or full length?
EP. It was 4 songs. Yeah, 28 minutes. Yeah, around there.
So you're saying it was? Is there a way to listen to it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on Spotify and YouTube. I did some playthroughs and stuff, and it's still up there.
Yeah.
Like I originally called it Thanatos, because I know there's a band in Belgium called Thanatos. And I just like released it under that name because I basically just like didn't think anybody was going to listen to it. And I released it as a note to my brother, because my brother's actually, he's dead now. He died about 10 years ago. And it was, he was always like super like cool about like, art and stuff. And just basically supported like, everything in my life. Yeah, much older. Yeah, much older. And like he basically like gave me my first N64. Gave me a bunch of like fantasy books. Yeah, gave me like some music and stuff. Like,
to you.
Yeah, he was one of the guys, and like it was great, So it was kind of like a way to commemorate, I guess, like that, and his life in some way or another. So that was kind of what
How many brothers and sisters? Is he the only sibling?
2 brothers. Yeah. So
Are
one's
you
in
in the
BC
middle?
in Canada. No, I'm the youngest. Yeah. My dad's first marriage, and then I'm from the second.
All right.
Yeah.
So
it was cool. I mean, that's kind of like what the album was like, themed on. And as far as vocals went, I was probably inspired by like Matthew Chalk.
How does it end?
How does it end? Like what?
The story. He
becomes death.
He becomes death. Then what
becomes death? Yeah.
So the rest of the album is him.
That's it.
Or
I guess I don't know. I guess I didn't think.
Or is the climax? Does he become? Does he become?
The end. What do you want?
That's the end, man. What else do you want?
There we go. I know, future follow up.
I'm invested in this story now. Dude.
Speaking of which, if you guys want some cheap follow,
you guys want some cheap viewers, dude? You go to fucking.
Just kidding. Viewers. Hell yeah.
His name's Transient too. Transient
Souvenir. That actually is kind of a cool name.
Probably shouldn't say it out loud, but that's a good name for someone that's like a spammer. It's like a transient souvenir. I don't know.
It's a transient souvenir. Yeah.
That's a good name, actually. Yeah. If you're gonna be a bullshitter,
don't go there, actually.
No, never go there. But if you're gonna be a spammer, have a funny name. Okay.
All right.
Might as well.
Bleep out that name because we edit, how we edit.
This is not going to be edited. This is
all right.
Already happened.
So it was tough finding people. When did you come across the first dude that you're like, yes, this is the drummer?
Fuck, good question, man. I mean,
because finding a drummer is hard, dude.
Tony
Westermark. He's like hopefully 2026 or something.
I mean, I guess like honestly, the drummer I had when I was like in high school was probably like the sickest drummer. Yeah, super sick feet, man. Like just killer feet, just double kicks. He had these Pearl Demon drives, man. He played the fuck out of those things.
And you're excited because you're a guitar player that finally is playing with the drummer that you hear something, and he can translate it. He could. But then
he was like, there was other pieces of the puzzle too, man. Like, I mean, he went to school, and then we couldn't get another bass player, another guitarist, and all this shit. So it was tough at that point, But he was amazing. Yeah, like an awesome drummer. It was super great to have him. And up after that, I would say it was Tony from Soreption, and like Tony is like god tier, man. He's so good.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. Dude's ridiculous, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Like, I mean, for a long time, like I was kind of like dormant, I guess. Like, I released that EP in 2018, and the idea was to like eventually get people to join the band and to like, find a drummer first, and and then to get into the guitar. So I had a guitarist who was a buddy of mine. I lived with him for a little bit, and he was one of my students as well. And super sick player. He's like a jazz guy, which like is like, I'm not a jazz guy. Yeah, and he's super good at that stuff. And like we were gonna do something, and it just basically he got busy, got a degree in music, and then burnt out on music for a bit because of like the whole degree thing, and then like went and started working, and then like we just never got a chance to really make that happen. But that actually got to evolved eventually into Vagon, which is another band I was playing with locally. And like recently, like we just released an EP like last year. And like it's with him and some other dudes, and like that has like a good formula. There's like a good formula of people, and I think like the right formula of people is super important to make your shit happen, because everybody's got to have the thing that they do to make everything kind of come to fruition, otherwise
but still have a connection with everybody else in some way too, a positive connection. And that's why I love working with Casey and Joel and all these guys over the years, because I connect with these guys for so long, and the connection's so strong that it's just natural to continue making music with them, And that's a rare. When I hear all these horror stories about people being in bands with at least one guy who's got such an inflated ego that it completely kills the vibe of the band. There's a special vibe that I think.
Yeah, practices have to be fun, and they have to be productive and fun. And
I'd rather be in a jam space where people giggle at you when you fuck up versus looking at you like you're a fucking asshole for doing that right now.
100%, dude. I mean, that's like more of a classical, or maybe like, you know, watching like a movie, like a Whiplash kind of like, it's like being pissed, like, do you fucking get it? You know, like people like getting like, get it down.
Yeah.
It's like, how that doesn't look like fun at all, dude. His hands are all bleedy. Like, why?
We're all there to have fun, and we're, you know, it's got like,
that was what I looked forward to after work. That was like, okay, we have band practice after. Like, it's like, but with all my friends, that was like,
I never
it
once
wasn't like
remember
one guy
being
that
like,
was bummed,
dude. I gotta drive Highway 1 to get to fucking practice. I'd be like, dude, I need to get the fuck out of work because I need to hit Highway 1. See the beautiful
Anthony had like an hour and 20-minute drive or something like that.
And I was so stoked. I couldn't wait. I didn't even care that I'd be getting back at 2 a.m., get up at 6 for work. It didn't matter, dude. I was going down to Santa Cruz. That was the feeling. Like, yes, dude, I get to experience this with my boys, you know?
It's just fun. It's just laughs. It's all the thing. It's like almost, you know, and same with like what you're talking about. It's basically just like it's a release of things. It's just, you know, a lot of people, if you want to play, if you want to do work and get some money and stuff, if you want, you know, to have your where you put your energy to, and it's like smile and have a good time and then groove too and then have like some cool parts where you're all like, fuck yeah, that was sick. There's so many things that can happen at a practice, like with friends, like, you know, the camaraderie, the laughing, that's amazing, obviously. But then like the music, when you're like, fuck, dude, this is like Mount Everest of just like happiness for a musician. Like, you know, it's like everything's taken care of. It's like all my serotonin levels are maxed and it makes you want to do it more.
The best has been you jam with dudes and you just are like, you've done it multiple times a week over and over. Like that's the ideal, like the old school kind of just like we have band practice scheduled every week or jam
3
multiple
days
a
or something,
week, whatever it is. Like how serious you are. But like that, like consistency, and you just like know your shit, and you might be working on something or whatever, but like you have this like momentum that's just like going, and you can just jam the songs, and it's like a confidence, like. So yeah, anyways, I want to add to what Ian was saying and just hear more about, you know, I want to hear
your relationship with them. Your relationship with their bandmates and stuff. Like what was the relationship? So it was probably you speak on it. I'm not gonna say it was probably anything.
It was, I mean, I guess I'm just an egotistical prick, you know, and I just
asshole.
You mean you can't play at 300 BPM? Then go fuck yourself. No, I mean, like it's great, you know. Like, I mean, a lot of the people, like, one of my best friends. I mean, it was like best friend for forever, you know. Like when I first moved to Edmonton. We played music together, and like some shit went down, like not between us, but with him in his personal life, that like it just basically put a hamper on things, and like it was difficult to continue in that sense. And like in regards to other people, it's like, I mean, you write a riff, or then you try to get somebody to play it, and then like they write a riff, and then we try to like everybody kind of go between each other with their riffs and whatever, and like, and then it just doesn't, like, people have a difficult time, I guess, accepting that they need to sit down and practice stuff sometimes, and like myself included. I mean, I'll just like have to sit down and just grind shit, and like I've accepted that over the years. Sometimes it's just what you got to do. But at the same time, like, I mean, I think for me, it was like in my head, like I wanted to do something that was super technical. And like that was what I wanted to do. Like when before, like I met the guys who were playing death metal. That was it. That was the idea. I want to like write something that's like Necrophagist and like Obscura and Spawn of Possession and all these bands that I really love. And Soreption too. I was listening to Soreption at that time, and I wanted to do that kind of thing. And then like you find people who are playing music, and like you don't want to like settle for anything less. And like, not saying that you're being like a total dickhead about it and like trying to like
you're pushing
yourself and other people to get better too, but like in a but not in a sense that like, oh, if you can't play this, like you're not in the band or whatever, but more or less just by like hinting at playing harder things or whatever. So like, I mean, I had this vision of what I wanted for the band I want to play in, and like it was difficult to find people to, I guess, to do that. So like, I mean, I still had like really good friends who I played music with, but like there was always, I guess, sometimes a divide with certain things like that, just because of like what the vision was.
I forget what band I was watching. I was watching a humongous band guitar player talk, and they tour probably half the year to the whole year, like every year. And they were talking about like, how do you keep that together? Because obviously you're on the road together. There's a bunch of things, and when you're in the songwriting process, like every song can be amplified. I forget what band it was. It was a big, one of the bigger metal bands, and they were like in the practice room, never say like, no, I don't like that, or like like there's certain words that you can say, because a lot of musicians, like, it could hurt their feelings straight up. Just like they worked really hard on showing you something, and they show it to you, and someone's like,
that's a vulnerable space.
I don't like that. Then it's like, it's everyone's like, it prohibits you wanting to show them more. It's like, so it's basically like, I forget the terminology they used. That wasn't allowed in their band, basically, to say like, no. It was like, how can we work on that? Does everyone feel that? Then we could move on, or just keep, like there was like a kind of a code that the guy put together that was like for their band, that they've been together for like, decades, and they're just,
well, it makes sense because you're getting together, and these are the first dudes that are going to see what you've been doing at home. From last week to this week, did I improve in anything, whatever? And so that's all a vulnerable space for everybody who's involved. So you're going to be more sensitive when you get criticism in those specific moments. The criticism may be something that is totally legit, and it makes sense, but maybe at a different time people can hear it differently. Yeah,
it's a drawing, like showing someone a drawing, just be like, people are like, drawing sucks. And he spent like the week, like 3 full days on it, or like, what are you thinking with that?
I mean, I know it's hard to draw hands, but dude, look at those hands.
He was the most proud. You're the most proud about the hands. You're like, dude, the hands I crushed it on. They're gonna be psycho.
It's like, no, you show up to band practice and you're like, hey guys, I wrote some songs, and they're like, present them.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
so that's the thing. You're performing for people for the first time, and it's like people that you respect because you're in this bubble together that nobody else is in. So of course the opinions of people, are going to be more potent.
And just to add really quick,
put it,
I was just going to say, like, it depends on like the project, if it's like your original project, or if it's like you're playing in a band that you have, whatever. It's like I had these songs and I was trying to do stuff in Decrepit, and I was kind of like, these are like basically odious songs or whatever. They're like my shit. And then it was like, I kind of wrote some stuff to think like how Matt was thinking, like I was like, well, what if I see the route he's going, this would be more like in his realm. And then he like liked it. And then he was like, yeah, he's, whatever. But it was like, for the most part though, like it was pretty hard to like write stuff for like a band where like there's already like a person who's kind of the main writer and stuff. And they're
in
kind
the
of
vein of someone.
Yeah, it's like their shit. Yeah.
And in that situation, everybody has, the more people need to mind meld with the thing and just know, like,
you got to respect
what happens for that,
the creator, and like kind of like they give your offerings, and then they decide.
Just give offerings. You don't give full, like, this is the song, this is the full song, and don't touch it.
Like, this is it. No, you have to be like,
you can't do that.
But I grew these turnips.
Exactly. That's all I wanted to say. But didn't you, Ian? It's discussion.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, just the relation in the band. And so at that time you're playing in that band, and people are leaving and going and stuff like that. So how does it proceed?
In Thanapraxia, I mean, like, basically released music, and the idea was to get musicians to play with me, and then I had a hard time doing that, and then basically I just ran out of steam on it. It was kind of tough. And then I basically, at one point, just like, I put it on the back burner. You know, I just focused more on like, you know, teaching and stuff like that. I obviously played metal. I mean, don't get me wrong in that sense. Like I play like metal with great riffs and shit like that. But like that project, I just basically put it like on the back burner for about a year or so. But then, yeah, when it was starting to like ramp back up again, I was like trying to find people. I mean, in my head, ramp back up. You know, like I'm gonna do this. You know, like it basically like the Soreption thing happened, and then it's like obviously been secondary to that at this point since that happened.
Okay, I have two questions. One that's totally in left field because I just want to spit it out because basically every Canadian death metal musician, I want to know when they found gore guts. So that's side note.
Oh hell yeah!
And then two, how did the Soreption thing happen? Did you approach them? Did they approach you? So two questions, totally random from each other, however you want to.
And there's a cat involved now, so I am a big cat guy. So
yeah, the kitty wants attention.
What's your cat's name?
Worm the cat.
Oh, Worm. I wonder what the tally is for pets on the show now. We've always
I love pets on the show. I heard Worm meowing. I heard Worm meowing, and I was like, we were in the middle of something, and I wanted to just like cut it off and be like, "What's up with the cat?"
I think we were having the same thought at the same time, dude. Because I was having that same thing earlier, and I was like, I don't know if that's Sagan or
I thought it was. No, I looked behind me like it was my cat. I was like, but I'm in a separated environment from my cat, so I'm like, how the fuck did he get out? I was all I had to kind of freak out
after Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Oh, badass, dude. Yeah.
And it's become like after saying that name so many times, it's become a first name to me. Sagan is like this sounds like a first name to me.
Sagan
like,
doesn't
like what it does.
Everybody knows who you're saying.
Someone name your kid Sagan. All right.
I mean,
so
that'd be cool. That's actually a pretty rad.
Put that out in the universe, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is, dude. There's 8 billion of us, dude. Somebody's called Sagan as a first name.
Probably.
Middle name Carl. Anyways, but to answering Anthony's questions, gore guts, what'd you say? And then what?
And then how you guys connected with the Soreption thing?
Soreption guys.
Gore guts, I guess, like probably Colored Sands. Yeah, that was like where I kind of jumped on with them.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, the 90s stuff, like I listened to it after the fact, but when they kind of came on my radar was probably around Colored Sands, which is like when they came back, you know, and Luke was like the band reformed and Ladies Dust, great and stuff. All that shit is amazing.
So
I love the production of the newer stuff. Yeah, I gotta agree with Joel on that stuff. Like it's
right.
Yeah, just the production level, I think like took their sounds to a whole new level.
It's hard to go back in time once that's your first introduction to a band and their production sound. Like,
good point.
Going back to earlier stuff, it's not. And that's kind of subliminal, the production aspect of it. If you had built yourself up to Colored Sands, how much better could Colored Sands be for you? Because I think my first introduction was probably Erosion. Mm-hmm. So, but even though that production's sick for the time, sitting through Colored Sands or Palladium's Dust, that's more of like a production experience, you know. Better, the equipment's better nowadays, the production's better now. So I don't know, it's just the sign of the times, and that's your first
it's a frame of mind too. Like a lot of people will say that, you know, Erosion's way better with, you know, because of their era.
It is harder for, you know, telling younger people, check how brilliant this is, but there's something production wise that doesn't translate as well. So as the nerd that's trying to be like, but check this out, you've already had this like built-in wall or filter that it just can't pass through, you know.
It's like at that age, like
I love the older stuff. Like, don't get me wrong.
I'm that guy.
My introduction was Colored Sands, but I still love the older stuff too. But it was like
I wasn't talking about you specifically. It's just that arose that idea of how there's a certain wall for younger people that I could go back to the 70s and enjoy the cinema, or I can go back to the 80s and 90s and enjoy the TV. But there is certain things that happen acting wise, production wise, all these things that kind of sets up a wall for the younger you get. It's going to be
the tools weren't available. So it makes it kind of more like kind of epic in an old school fashion when you see what what they had, and they didn't have the things we had already seen. They were before all that, and they did what they did before that.
I'm thinking of my 13-year-old that loves Eminem, and I'm trying to show him old Eminem, and he's like, "What the fuck is this, dude?"
I think it's about an interesting thought is when you think of a band or an artist, what music do you think of? What album do you go to? Like just like the thought of, oh yeah, it pops in your head. Like, but what album do you go to?
Which artist? What do you mean?
Like if someone says an artist, right?
Yeah, like if I say
artist.
Yeah, like if I think of like a band, like I think of
Giger,
like an album, like Suffocation. I think of Pearson Within, or the certain things that I think of.
Okay.
So for me, Gorguts, like for me, I'm just so like ingrained to think of Erosion of Sanity and the first one, what's it called again? Oh, Considered Dead, and like that shit, like the early kind of like Scott Burns kind of sound kind of shit, right? Isn't it? But yeah,
I really think of Obscura first before anything else.
But Obscura is after those, right?
It was like that was like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's personally the album I think of when I think of Gorguts. I think of like Erosion. Like my brain starts playing Erosion, like Gorguts, and it's like I just start I just that's what comes to my head, dude. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying is that's different for everyone, and that's cool. Like there's not, and my other point was going to be that Erosion or Gorguts never really put out a bad album ever. Like everything, you might have like favorites and shit, but everything is fucking badass and like different. And that's what's cool about Gorguts is it's
all their own thing.
Yeah, dude, it's art. It's like
Luke's an asshole besides everything.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely not. He's a sweetheart, dude. I mean, he gave us 4 hours.
Probably the nicest guy I've ever.
It's like Cryptopsy too. They don't have that. I mean, everything. I love Cryptopsy. Like, dude, even the new like all the new stuff's like amazing. It's like what the fuck? It's fucking like some of the coolest shit. So I think that's rad when bands can do that. Like you're like, I can't say anything bad about their new stuff. It's like almost even better. I'm just so used to the old shit. Like
that's just how our brains work.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
It's like nostalgia and stuff like that. Like, it's funny. I was talking to Osa the other day, and she's like. And she'd kind of like she's into psychology and stuff, and she was telling me like I was looking back on something. She's like, well, that's just how metalheads think. They think of nostalgia all the time. And I was like, well, I think you might have nailed that, but I didn't really think of it like that. I mean, but she just threw it like a matter of fact thing. Just like, yeah, metalheads I feel like are like more nostalgic. And I was like, well, I am thinking about that right now, and there's but
everyone's nostalgic, dude. Everyone's nostalgic.
That is true too. I thought the same thing.
Album. It's not just metal. Like it's like
like 70s Hendrix. People say like Hendrix is the best guitar player.
Almost every human goes, check out what was cool when I was going through puberty. Dude.
There's a cutoff though. There's like a cutoff. I remember there was like some sort of a science whatever thing where they were like saying. Like after the age of like 35, 36 or something, it's like that's your music now. It's like down is your music.
That's the merit to it. That's interesting.
Yeah,
sure.
Then I would argue that death metal heads have a better chance of still accepting new music because there's new bands that still blow my mind.
It just goes into. I mean, Carrie sent me a meme the other day that murdered me. He's like, it was like basically like a death metal head, and it's all like here's like this this prog band, and becomes like a prog head. Like it's like but for me, prog is kind of like we're
metal chameleons, dude. We can take on. We can start to change. We're shapeshifters. That actually.
I mean, what does Worm think about this? What does Worm think about all this?
Yeah.
Aw. How old is Worm?
He's like 2.5.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, if you would have said 15, I would have. Yeah, I would have.
No,
that's how
he's
just don't age.
He's unripe. He's green.
Yeah.
The kids are bugging me about a pup, dude. Now that we got the house, they're like, "Where's the
cats
dog?"
Are so much more easy to manage.
Oh yeah. Cats are the best. I bring this guy down to California with me when I go down. Yeah, just put him in a book bag and stick him under a seat, and he's super chill, man. Like he's always just hanging out no matter what.
Yeah,
like Yeah, I mean, some cats, like I hadn't looked at before this one, and it was just like a train wreck, you know, like it was crazy. Yeah, like some cats just are bad seeds, you know. This one was like super aggressive and shit. Like this is like where I teach, so people would come in, and she would like attack, like, you know, just instantaneously, like attack, like vicious, dude, like draw blood. And like, I don't know if she just like was brought up on death metal or something, you know, it was just always around like these aggressive sounds, and that's how she just assumed she had to be or something. But yeah, it was terrible. I would never be able to travel with that cat, you know. But this one, man, is like the chillest motherfucker.
That's right.
Yeah. I tried to give him drugs before I flew with him first, and there was no chance.
What kind of drugs?
The way you
just
said
general
that,
drugs?
Just
like I didn't need it. He didn't need it at all. He just like would just spit it out. Then he was like, "No, I'm gonna go on this fucking plane. I don't care." Yeah,
I just was giggling because like, what if you stopped
the entire flight?
What if you stop that sentence? Just like, I tried to give it drugs, dude. So anyways, corruption.
Yeah, somebody cut that out.
I mean, a lot of people say, I mean,
his clips.
There's always the dogs versus cats thing, and dogs, I think, they're sicker or sicker. They're better. They're better like full time and like family members.
Yeah,
cats you can just leave it, and when they come around you get to hang out with them and stuff. But like a dog is
somewhere inside. They're trained to eat. This is where their food is.
Dogs are probably for giving love and stuff. Dogs are murder cats.
They need more attention, though. You're saying, yeah. There's certain breeds that So me and Bryce have been talking about dogs, obviously, and and there's certain breeds I can't remember off the top of my head that it literally says if you go to work every day, you shouldn't have this dog, because all it is just having mad anxiety the whole time you're away. And I don't want to. And that is, we all have grown up to learn that shit's poison. So I don't want to poison my dog while we're all gone at school or work, you know?
You know what I read the other day too about cats is that in the morning, cats are always like super lovey. They're always super lovey-dovey in the morning. It's the scientist dude broke it down. He's like, they thought you were knocked out for 8 hours, like hurt. And then when you get up, they're like, oh shit, dude, come hang out. They thought you were like hurt, injured, or like knocked out for like the night. And then like when you wake up, they're like, fuck yeah. You're good.
All right, disclaimer, I'm allergic to cats, so this isn't even an option.
Oh, that's why, dude.
I got Anthony. Here's what you do.
You get Sphinx, man.
I got Anthony. You get 2 dogs.
Nice.
So they can hang out. And 2 dogs is the perfect amount. 2 dogs.
You're saying with the anxiety thing, if we were to get that breed,
just get 2 dogs.
At least I got somebody to hang out with.
You could even get it from the same family if you want, or whatever. I don't know.
Like an actual brother.
One dog,
brother and a sister.
Yeah. And I'm all about. If I get a dog again, I want to get a lab, dude.
Are you thinking about it after? It's been a while since Rufus. R.I.P. Rufus.
Not by myself, but yeah. But like, if I was gonna over all the dog, like my sister has this dog, Sammy, that's like the most awesome black lab dog. Just comes up and wiggles at you, know. It's like, dude, I love labs, dude. Like labs, like black labs or any kind of lab, dude. I feel like. Or lab mixes and stuff, but like, dude, labs, man, those are my dogs. They're my favorite.
Doors, man.
You know, I love them.
Golden lab.
But there's a lot of great dogs
for swimming.
Yeah, dude. They're just my favorite. But there's a bunch of great dogs. I'm just saying, you know, if I had,
you sound like you're getting the itch, dude.
Oh, dude, I love dogs, but I just not right now. Like I'm by myself and I work a bunch, and it's just not something good. I want to like have like, you know, like a person to like have a dog
parrot or something.
Yeah, it's just like by myself. And then again, 2 dogs, dude. Get like, if you have the room, which you got a house, there you go.
Yeah.
Just get 2, and then they're like they hang out together, and they kind of like they're not lonely really, because they might miss you, but they're there. 2 dogs.
They get like crazy chains, like spike chains, and do like a Snoop Dogg's music video where you're walking down the street with both of them.
But, I mean,
but instead you have a fucking Bluetooth speaker playing Bertsum.
You could do with cats. Sick. Sometimes when we first moved to the new spot, we'd play this, like, you look on YouTube, there's like cat calming music, and it like just all like It's not meowing. I just can't do it. But
it's so funny, dude.
No, it's like
an orchestra of cats.
Do it again.
No. It's like it's like ins and outs, like a fluctuating like tones, like, and then like, and Sagan would come out and just be like, "What up? It's all good." And just like, what the fuck? This works.
I know we're in the cat weeds, but dude, I sent you that video of cats like gagging over the sound of running your finger along a comb, dude.
I have to try that.
That would be. Do you have a comb handy, Ian? Can we make your cat gag right now, real quick? Just to see if
it's like a plastic comb. One of the plastic
ran away.
It's actually it blew my mind. How many
heard the word comb and ran away?
There were this video was at least 10 different cats that all gagged at the sound of a comb.
The like plastic ones that goes like, and then they go blah, and then like you sent it to me. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Dude,
okay,
I just want to see it.
All right, Nicole, if you have a comb, like one of those plastic combs, you just
dude,
and then it does it supposedly.
Send Nicole a link. I can do this live so we can see it happen, dude.
Just film it on your iPhone. We all have personal cameras in our pockets.
All right. We're out of the
Soreption.
We went from gore guts to cats.
Gorets to cats.
That's the thing, dude. You just need a machete on the show, and we just hack through the weeds that we dug ourselves into, dude.
Yeah, we're getting
hack ourselves back out.
Both good things. Gorets and cats.
Found the road. All right.
Cheers to that.
Let's talk about Soreption. How did you approach them? They approached you.
Beans.
How'd that happen?
I guess Rickard wrote me a message on Instagram and asked me, I guess they were in a pinch, like they needed somebody to track the album. And he was like, "Yo, do you want to track our album?" And I was like, "Well, let me check my schedule here." I already been listening to Soreption for a while and super stoked on the band. And I was extremely surprised to wake up to a message like that. And
right.
Never
did you have like live playing videos and shit out already?
Live.
Or did they just hear your EP?
I don't think I heard that at that point, man. Cause like it was, they saw my shit on Instagram and like I had been posted videos for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a guy who I know who's like a sick shredder. He actually did a solo on Yord on one of the tracks, and he's from the same place as them. And I think it's somewhere along the line, like he had mentioned me to them, and then they'd followed me on Instagram or whatever, and then basically they popped the question and they asked me if I wanted to record the album. And they're like, you want to do this? Send me the tabs. And I was like, fuck yeah. Then they're like, well, guess what? You have 2 weeks. And I was like, oh shit. So like, the way that I record stuff too is like, I don't like try to just do it like a little bit at a time. I try to like learn the song first and then like actually track the fucking thing.
Play through. Yeah.
Play. I mean, you can't like do that with death metal to a certain degree anyways. I mean, you have to punch in to get shit. Like for tech, I mean, you just got to do it. It's just the way that shit works. But like for the most part, I would try to like, like learn the actual song, be able to like actually kind of play it, And so like 2 weeks, I was like, fuck, this is tough, but we got it done and got it done in a little bit over 2 weeks and like, tracked the album, wrote a solo for it. And then released it. And then I guess like the tour popped up, the Suffocation tour. And that was like early in 2022. And they asked me if I wanted to do it because I recorded the album and, they liked it, I guess. And then, went on tour. Then after the tour, they asked me to join the band.
Right.
And now we're working on, the 5th album. Yeah. And we're like pretty, like 60%, 65% of the way through it. So
super sick, dude.
Yeah, I'm stoked for people to hear it. It's gonna be fucking badass.
Now, how does the writing process happen with a band like that?
It's funny. It kind of ties back into what you guys are talking about with like the vulnerable space thing and like how you have a riff and you like write a riff and then you love this riff, and then somebody shits on your riff and you're like, God damn it. Like it's
right.
Being in this band like has taught me to not get attached to ideas. To basically not to get attached to stuff, because sometimes when you get attached to stuff, it's always for the wrong reason. Yeah, not always for the wrong reason. For a lot of time, it's for the wrong reason. It's a very personal thing, and it's never like what's best for the song. I wouldn't say never, but a lot of times it's not what's best for the song, and it's not what's best for everybody who's in the band. So like when we write, like I have to write like a ton of riffs. I'll write like as many fucking riffs as I possibly can. And I started writing as soon as we finished that tour, which is even before I actually was in the band. I just, got off the tour and I was like just writing riffs and would just send them to the guys, and we would like, put them in a folder online and just like, save them up basically. And, like just wrote as many as possible. I think in that summer I wrote close to like 150 to 200 riffs.
Damn.
And like, I mean, obviously not like amazing riffs, like not every single one is a fucking banger, but like you write some shit and, you spend like, 20 minutes writing a riff, then, okay, that's cool. You don't get attached to it. You go to the next riff, you write a new riff, then, maybe you got some gold there. Maybe you mine some gold, right? Then you go to the next one and you write another riff, and you try to keep writing these ideas, and don't get too hung up on something and start polishing the turd, because in a lot of cases, like that can be sometimes a good thing. Obviously, if you want to make something better, the best thing you can do is just keep working at it. But a lot of times you just got to write something new, and like you can always incorporate similar ideas you had in previous riffs and like make a similar idea in a new riff, but it's just slightly different. Maybe something unique about that just makes it great, makes it like a really good riff, the way that it grooves, or the rests in certain places, or like maybe like a little thing you add there or whatever, little bit of like flashy stuff or whatever you want to call it. But I think
it wouldn't be a Cali Death podcast episode without me mentioning David Lynch just one time. But it's the same thing that you guys are doing, but with me and words. If I get a even just like a funny
because they rhyme with
rhyming line or something, but it's something that just like sparks an idea. You write it down in a way that you're going to remember it when you go back to it. Well, you guys are riffing it out, so you'll remember it when you go back to it. And it doesn't really mean that that's the final product. It could be. It could have very well end up being a riff that you didn't change at all, and it's exactly the way that it came to you the first time. But planting the seed and just knowing that you're still in love with this idea, and when you get that final product from that seed that was planted, if you're still in love with it, that's what's up. That's literally what it is. If you went through the whole process of what it may be so different than the seed that you planted, but it's exactly what that seed took you to. And it may just be a riff, it may be a whole song, it may be a whole album. But the fact that you just stay true to the original thing in some way or form, that's where it's at, dude. If you took that full process and are satisfied at the end of it, then that's exactly what you're looking for, dude.
I got a question, because you said
it's a lot of work.
Polishing a turd was a that definitely is a thing. But have you ever polished a diamond into a turd? Or it's like already
good point, man. Yeah,
it's already pretty good,
totally
but you kind of
right?
like keep picking at it until it's a turd.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally.
You can sit there and just keep doing shit until something just doesn't sound right, and like you change something too much that it just loses the magic it had in the first place.
It's like jerking off, but then you just go limp, and then it just won't come back up, dude. That's literally what it is. It's like, fuck, I guess I'm never off now.
Yeah,
it's over.
David
jerking a turd, dude.
But I guess like with Tony and stuff, like we'll write like a bunch of riffs, and like the majority of the writing goes between like myself and Tony. And like, I'll write all the riffs and send them to Tony, put them like in a folder for him, and he'll pick through them and, pick what he likes, what he doesn't like. And he makes songs out on the way that he would describe it as I prepare the ingredients, and, he, bakes the cake, basically what he would tell you. And like, he's like basically a person who would like, is super, super picky, and always wants to find like some super sick riffs. And in a lot of cases, like he might find something that's like, super good. He might change some stuff about it, to make it something that he likes more. He might take a part of this riff and add it to another riff, and kind of like add a bunch of stuff together to make something that he likes. So like in a lot of cases, like there's a lot of that type of stuff happening. So if I write a riff that I really like, I mean, at the end of the day, it might evolve. The seed might evolve into something different than what it was that I had envisioned in the first place. But Tony took it and made it into something that was slightly bit, like a little bit different from that, but it's still got like a remnant of what the seed was originally.
So you personally, like with your scholastic music abilities training, As far as like when you start sitting down to try to like write riffs, like just I mean for guitar players listening and stuff like that, like what does that look like? Does that look like you're just randomly noodling on a scale? Are you you have a chord progression in mind? What do you do to like start writing, or does it just come from you having the knowledge that you have and you're just fucking around and get one, or how does that work?
I mean, I think with that summer when I wrote like 150 riffs, I just sat on the back deck, with like basically a bottle of beer and just like with my computer with Guitar Pro, and I just where's back, and I just wrote a bunch of riffs. So like I just sat there with Guitar Pro, and like I'm at the point where like I'll just like write some stuff in. I know the shapes and whatever. I mean, any guitarist too, like you play guitar, like okay, the shape kind of makes that sound, and the shape makes that sound, and you just start plugging things in different rhythms until you find something you like. It's basically the same process that you get like when you sit down with a guitar in your hands and you write riffs with a computer instead. And what's really amazing is like Tony can do that too, and he's not a guitarist, which is like really, really crazy because like he's I guess been using Guitar Pro forever. Like they always wrote in Guitar Pro, and always like ever since the start, the EP in 2007 when they released that. It was like the band formed in 2005, and they've always been writing in Guitar Pro, which is insane. So it was like Guitar Pro 3, like way back. Like I was using that. So I was using like to learn guitar.
We had 2.5.
I was going to say
I was using 3 to like learn songs. I would download 50,000 songs from the internet and like learn them through Guitar Pro 3. But, like they were like sitting there, or just torrent them. I would like torrent like 50,000 songs, and they would like sit there and like just like write all these riffs. It's crazy. Like the fact that Tony's like not a drummer, but he can, or not a guitarist, but he can do that. And like
I just want to give Casey some love real quick. I know he's going to be super humble when I say, "Oh, he's not even there, dude." So this actually might be better since he's not.
Say it. Right this is therapy, dude.
He was a good drummer, a drummer that was well versed in writing
one of the best drummers in the world
correctly, and Guitar Pro. He wrote Collapse of Recreation in the back of the van on tour, just with his a good, maybe not even a guitar, dude, but
that was
just when you talk about shapes and stuff, I'm just like, dude, Casey.
For you listeners, there's a middle finger. I had him on full screen. He was peeing probably, and the middle finger showed up on screen.
And I don't even know when he must have been there the whole time. That motherfucker's been hiding, dude. Right off screen. That's so funny. But it's just when you mention somebody who's not a guitar player doing brilliant things with Guitar Pro, I immediately thought of Casey Howard, because that's exactly what he did, dude.
It's insane. Mad respect to people who can do that.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest. Like when you start seeing like just crazy bands and stuff, like a drummer that understands guitar on a different level kind of thing, you start seeing like better music come from that. I feel like personally, like for technical stuff, you start seeing like drummers that like actually fully shut the fuck up, Casey. You start like really like understanding, like they understand what you're doing. They understand like they could put a fucked up time signature under it and play it 3 times and it matches up. Kind of, they can do stuff like that with it too. That really like
I think
totally
what's
changes
cool about
the riff.
I think you have like a really good point there. I think what's cool about that when like drummers like have that kind of like I guess impact on writing is like it doesn't become like this like showboaty like look what I can do kind of thing. Like when a guitarist is writing something and they're into tech, they're like very much about like, well, let's like see how hard I can make this riff or this sweep arpeggio and whatever. And it's like let's make it as difficult as possible and whatever. And like not saying like a lot of Tony stuff that is programmed is like that. It's not like that because it is. But at the same time, there's like a lot of shit that's basically like it's not about showing what one person can do. It's just about the song itself.
Do you think that's what's lacking in a lot of like dad rock and a lot of like Satriani and a lot of those bands like that where the guitar player is the star and they just go like the song sucks because it's just like them the drummer just doing the basic shit behind it, just like not understanding or in a lot of those instances it'll be the guitar player is it's like Steve Vai or something, like, well, it's fucking Steve Vai. No, I do too. I just saw him play with Beat with do King Crimson stuff the other night. It was awesome. But like as far as but just think you're the drummer of Steve Vai. Like just think you're drumming for Steve Vai. You're not thinking
Steve Vai writes cool shit though.
He does, but at the same
Sure.
time, like there's a lot of things that, like, if it was a guitar-oriented drummer that he was like into, like I don't want to use him as an example, but like Satriani knew stuff, like stuff. It has like the like kind of like dad feel to it the whole time. But if
it's like a rock.
The drummer decided to do like it's rock. If they decided to do like a Danny Carey approach to it or something where they would like take the rhythm off a little bit with something, I feel like that music would speak a lot more to me. But the guitar is fucking amazing. Like I love what they're doing on guitar, but like the song could take a completely different structure if you have a drummer that you're willing to, like, I mean, for them, willing to listen to, and then have them like with a guitar perspective and drum perspective, like make it like a totally different feel, you know?
I think I had to listen to those, like, you know, Joe Satriani, and I got to listen to a lot of that stuff, like Greg Howe and Malmsteen. Tonic Alpine, all the dudes, man. I love that shit. I love like the shrapnel stuff. And like,
have you ever seen Satriani live?
But when I listened to it, never, because I grew up in Newfoundland. But like when I listened to that shit, I had to listen with different ears. It's like I have to, because like I don't listen to it in the same way that I listen to something like that metal.
Point
I listen
at the
to
main
it for
thing.
different things. Yeah, it's like it's a guitar. It's like showcasing the instrument, the guitar instrument.
So
the
drums are just keeping rhythm,
and showcasing the ego too.
This brings out a really brings out a really great point. So like the shred, and like we always used to kind of tease around cacophony vocals and stuff, and like you know, like and it's like bands that were just the guitar playing is just out of control, and then the music's okay, like the songs are rad, but the singing's okay, whatever it is. And so it's very interesting, like how that, and like of course, you know, Dragons or what's the Yingwei, whatever. Dragons Kiss is Marty Friedman, but the Yingwei one with the dragon on the front,
black,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So like, and there are some great parts on it and singing and all this, but the guitar is the headline.
Is the singer.
It's
the singer and
the guitar is headlining those albums. So even Surfing with the Alien, Satriani, all kinds of shit like that. The guitar is headlining the album. Like the guitar is the lead singer, right? You know?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is it's like, but then you got like Ozzy, like with Randy Rhoads, or like Judas Priest, or
that's
like
what I'm saying.
Or even Scorpions and stuff with Uli Roth, like bands that like fucking have a great, or Iron Maiden too, like, but bands that have a great singer that like just, or Dio shit, dude, with the fucking with Vivian, dude,
Vivian Campbell,
you know, let me get but the point is, like, one of my favorite solos like ever written, but like. But the singing and the songwriting is like to this level,
Steve
like
Vai with DLR, hell yeah.
When you have
Jason
the like
Becker,
lead,
Steve Vai.
Dude. When you have the lead singer though, like when it's like someone like, you know, like early 80s Ozzy or fucking like shit like that. There's something about that where it's
Are you saying Ozzy's a good singer?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude.
I mean, for the time.
I'll go off.
Chris Barnes was a good singer.
Black Sabbath, dude. No, dude, Ozzy is amazing.
He's not a good singer, but he wrote some good melodies.
Okay, whatever. Okay, all that, it doesn't even matter. No. But the point is, it doesn't matter though. It's the point of like Sabbath shit though. Like those. The point is that like, dude, like it's not about like skill, because it's like that's where it gets into virtuoso nerdland. So you can be like, okay, well, this singer of this prog guy is way better and all this, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like that's what I'm trying to get at, is like, was Kurt Cobain a good singer? Like, was Lane Staley a good singer? Like, I think so. Like in some people,
I
like,
think Lane's
great.
out of all the names that we just mentioned, I think Lane's got it.
But it's like, okay, is Bruce Dickinson better than Rob Halford? Is better than Dio? Ozzy fits into that, like especially with the Sabbath, like
because they have the guitar player that's shredding too, and then
about
the singer.
Sound, like about the timbre. It's about the fucking timbre and the entire lore behind the inside.
And think about harsh vocals. It
doesn't matter if Ozzy's a good singer or not. It doesn't matter.
Fair.
It's the sound.
Fair point.
And it's about
the overall sound.
James Hetfield a good singer? It doesn't fucking matter, dude. It doesn't. Is Dave Mustaine a good singer? I mean, fucking hell.
No. Dave Mustaine's a Muppet, man.
But I don't want anyone else singing on Rest in Peace. I want Mustaine. I want the fucking. Is Billy Corgan a good singer? Like, no, dude. Like,
no,
you know, like
that's true.
Voice, are the timbre, their voice is good. It doesn't fucking matter. The point is,
one of my favorite memes is when you're going down the roller coaster.
Yeah, it's great. I just saw them. It was great. Yeah. The point is, it's about the fucking package of sound. It's presented to you as a package. Is Arnold Schwarzenegger a good actor?
No, what you're saying, Casey, is
No.
that Joe Satriani is a it's one sound coming out of a full band, whereas other bands are full sounds coming out of. It's like a full package that you're getting.
The
that's hitting
edge.
the spot.
It's almost like you need the edge of someone that sucks a little bit, but not necessarily. Like,
but it's.
like
I think there's a difference between like technique and musicality. Is
exactly.
Like you're saying that sometimes like a singer can like write something that's memorable and connects to people. And that's very musical.
You could trace that all the way to death metal vocals.
And then death metal vocals, man, like there's people who do shit that like probably have like bad technique and they're gonna hurt themselves, but at the same time, like
you could call
they have good songs and good vocals that people dig, you know.
Why do we like Nirvana, dude? Like,
I don't like Nirvana.
I do. I like Nirvana.
He didn't have to deal with it.
Why are you assuming I like Nirvana?
No, I'm saying that the world. Why does the world like Nirvana? Like, you know,
you could use
he's not
liked. Not like.
Okay, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
No, I'm just kidding. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, dude.
No, for sure, 100%. No, it's a full. No, I've heard even like one of my first.
Yeah, from like death metal vocals, like Chalky from like Psychroptic early.
Oh yeah,
he's always been innovative to me.
Does he have like good technique though? I mean, like his vocals are fucked. Like he has like insanely crazy.
I don't know about longevity. I don't think
longevity. But how long can you do that on stage? Because is it really good technique that's safe that is going to be like good for your vocals, right?
But when it comes to a song, from the same type of dude, Lord Worm. Chalky is like a more refined Lord Worm, where he has this crazy range.
Lord Worm,
Trevor,
he's nothing like Lord
Trevor. Sorry, fucking Travis from Cattle. He's got this range too that hits like so many more ways you can use your voice. I think that there's a way to like
100%.
be a Lord Worm's a dude that's in that camp, I believe, but he's just the guy who just turns everything up to 10 and just fucking white knuckles that shit through his vocals. And then there's the more refined Chalky or Travis, these guys that their goal as a vocalist is to try and do as many variations of the voice that they can.
Dude, Chalky on Scepter of the Ancients going like,
like
I don't even know how you
some of that like froggy type.
That hurts my voice.
Soggy. I've never heard soggy before. I love that. To add that to the vernacular of describing death metal.
Was Rob Zombie a good singer?
Dude, froggy as fuck, man. If it doesn't have froggy death metal vocals, I don't want it.
It's something, but there's something rad about bad vocals. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, was Rob Zombie like?
We were citing Varg. That Bertram album sounds terrible.
But even like Jonathan Davis, like Korn, like it's like okay, some are like more better, some are more melodic, some are more this, some are more that. But we don't care. Like what care is matches the band, the style.
Authenticity is what matters.
Yeah, none of the other dudes can.
It's almost like bad is good.
Scat metal.
If it's all virtuoso, it's fucking like
bad is good for no offense, Anthony. Bad is good for vocals. We're getting into like places where I'm like,
but it's not
pushing.
Always,
you're not like hearing Whitney Houston's not going to sing Cannibal Corpse.
No, the point is it's not all one or all or nothing. Like you can have bad and good. You can have like really great Bruce Dickinson and these guys, and then you can have like really
yin and yanging wrist.
I'm saying that both can exist at the same time, man.
I'd like to at least have an attempt to hear the words. That's what at my age, I still want an attempt to hear the words, and I think about that with hip hop.
You know, my favorite lyrics
mumble rapping sucks because being a lyricist was the whole thing.
Lord Worm was my favorite one. Was
but yeah, there's a select few things where it came to me at a time where I accept it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and shout out to Maddie, I love you to death. But when you listen to Disgorge, you're not really hearing the
instrument. He's an instrument.
That's the point too. Audible death metal lyrics or inaudible death metal lyrics, they're all good, dude.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's my point. Is all,
and it's still cool that they have lyrics written for the parts that they do. That is just
I love both.
Joel was just doing earlier.
Yeah, I love. Yeah.
So I think there's like a time and a place. Yeah. I mean, like, Opeth, I mean, I would say it's a good example of Michael has like the best enunciation.
You can hear what he's saying, dude.
right? Bloodbath too, man. Like some of those early records he did with Bloodbath, like Nightmares Made Flesh.
I have a
like
bone to pick with Michael right now. I have a bone to pick with him because
so good, man.
Here it comes.
I mean, the thing is, on the Ola England, he did an interview.
I didn't watch
he was
it.
like, he was complaining about like all the fans wanting growling. He's like, oh, growling, oh, all the fans want growling. And I understand, like, I know the band's like evolved into, you know, kind of like a more proggy, you know, 70s, 80s kind of thing. And the new one's not, you know, going to be as much like that. And there's a lot of growling on that. But he's so annoyed by the fact that people like his growling. He was like, on that interview, he was like, wow, people just fucking want this shit. I don't know, like, what if I just do the best growling vocals ever and make the shittiest album? I'm thinking about doing it. And I was like, bro, I get the Swedish humor behind it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, like,
trapped.
You are the goat, kind of.
Well, you're
like,
kind of trapped in your whole thing, dude. So he's in a prison that he's open.
People are just like, why don't you growl
as an
more?
artist. In this prison, everybody loves all the shit where he's growling, and he's trying to break out of the prison and do something different because he's been stuck in the prison. And I'm saying that in a negative way, but really as an artist that is out there playing their current shit that they're most stoked on, and then everybody talks about the albums that happened before that. You know, if we went out on a synesthesia tour, everybody would have been talking to us about Devouring and Cryptic, you know, and that's just the way it is, dude. We put something out. These guys put something out. Opeth put so much out that just various people connected with. I mean, there's people
had his listened to Opeth at some point in time and appreciated the fuck out of them.
You talk about rabbit holes. We always talk about rabbit holes.
Blackwater Park.
There's so many pathways into Opeth, you know. There's only a few pathways into death metal, but there's multiple pathways to Opeth. You could find it from various, you know, artists that you've come across in your life. There's more of a chance that, you know, Dream Theater fans going to come across Opeth than Dream Theater fans going to come across Cannibal Corpse. You know?
True. Yeah,
it's the same thing. So that's why I think that Opeth's such a great conversation all the time, because they've throughout their career have just opened up all these doorways into possible ways you can get to their music.
I still remember my first Michael Keane was the one. We were playing a show or would tour with Faceless, and I remember it was Las Vegas, and they were playing a Blackwater Park song over the PA. And I was like, this song fucking rules. He's like, it's fucking Opeth, dude. Like, you don't know Opeth? And I was like, I mean, I've heard, I don't know. I just never really listened to him. He's like, what the fuck is your, he like started like level. And like, we just went and listened to I think we listened to Ghost Reveries all the way through. And I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. But I figured in my head, I didn't like, I was like, I thought it was like a logo thing. I didn't like it was like a Cradle of Filth. And I was like, I don't want to listen to that band because this looked like cheesy or something. It was just because of the logo. I didn't want to part at that time. This is like 10 years ago. But I was like, I didn't want to listen to it. I was like, that's like not, I feel like that's not going to be my style of music. And I just had everyone in Faceless like kind of like making me feel like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, and I was like, all right, well, I'll listen to it. And listen to it at first I was like, yeah, it's good, whatever, but on your own, listening to it in the car and just listening to it and have it hit you in the car and like have a really crazy moment and hit you with Opeth, you're like, oh shit, this shit's like next level. This is like, it just takes one of those moments with Opeth.
Agreed. I think it's one of those bands, it's a slow burn. Like you need to have like the attention span to listen to a whole song to really, even sometimes a whole album, to really like appreciate the band itself. And you just got to like sit there and let it simmer. And eventually like, you're like, damn, this is some good shit. Like, you know, I never really got the full appreciation of their music until like listening to their albums a few times through to, I'd really understand the dynamic and like, just how their music flows, you know, like everything kind of just like has a certain sound that is reminiscent of death metal, but reminiscent of like progressive rock, but also reminiscent of like, some like, I would say some, I mean, even some shred stuff. There's like some Feely solos and shit too. You know, I don't know. It's, the thing is like he's such a diverse musician. And I think what Anthony was saying, it's like you can come into that band like in any way that you want to. You basically have to like approach it from whichever I think background you have at that point. So like if you're into like various different genres at that point, that could be classic rock or progressive rock, listen to Rush, right, some shit like that, and then you can appreciate Opeth, right away. You listen to Ghost of Perdition, and he starts balladeering. You're like, fuck, this could be a Rush song, but at the same time, like it soon breaks into death metal, which sounds more like Bloodbath or something like that. Some some Swedish death metal stuff. And like it's a cool juxtaposition of styles, and I think it attracts multiple listeners because of that.
You actually have to have a relationship with all those various aspects too, to fully appreciate the long haul that you're talking about, these long songs, or a lot of, not just Opeth, but there's times where we go back to Gorguts real quick, Ladies Dust, that what is that, almost 30 minutes long. And I'm a person that wants to hear something in full. So if you present this thing as one song, I'm not going to take a break and go make a grilled cheese and come back. And I have to stay in the thing with you guys, and so Opeth, you have to have all these relationships with all these various aspects of the band. You have to come across prog rock and also come across death metal and come across all these other, elements that are in there, and be waiting for each of those moments to happen. It's a lot of homework that you do before you get to sitting down. I always cite my brother. My brother's a metalhead, but when I showed him Opeth, he's like, dude, they got too many commercials.
That's hilarious. I've never heard that before.
So whenever I put on Opeth, he jokingly says, you putting on commercials, and shout out Vincent. And it kind of is that way for a person who's not looking for the other elements of Opeth other than the extreme aspects,
100%.
Now grab the machetes, let's hack out of the Opeth fucking weeds. We've grown a lot of weeds this episode.
Jesus.
I hope you're not just feeling like you're sitting back and listening to us talk, Ian.
Ian's put out some
dude,
good shit.
I'm in, man. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Opeth was like my favorite band. I have pictures of me like when I was in high school, like doing vocals. This guy is staying. I hope you guys are down for the worm. But yeah, like doing vocals and like playing guitar, in bands with like a Ghost Reverie shirt on, and just loving that shit, man. Like, cause like that was a band that spoke to me at that time massively, and I always like dig their music. I have like a bunch of their albums: Deliverance, My Arms Are Hers, and Ghost Reverie's Blackwater Park.
Joel
everything at the Watershed, basically. And I think I even have Sorceress too.
Joel was talking about the logo,
and I guess at a certain point in time, that was like such a great band for that point in time. It was like perfect for that time of my life. But Still Life too, so good. Orchard, yeah, man. Yeah, amazing.
You can see them progress into what they became, kind of with those albums. You can see like the slow. I mean, they're being a little slow path. Sorry, being a little like getting into like Still Life. You can kind of hear where Blackwater Park kind of got to, and then Ghost Reveries. But then they basically probably just got burnt out, as my guess, of like that style of music, and then wanted to go back to their like initial influences would be my guess of what those albums.
Well, he's been citing 70s.
Watershed's amazing though, but I mean,
Michael's been talking about 70s prog for a long time, dude.
Yeah,
even before.
I think like Dan Swano, him and Dan Swano were doing that shit back in the day. Yeah, totally, Dan Swano from Bloodbath, right? When he was like writing riffs, and I think he played drums too, right? Nightmares Made Flesh, and did some vocals and shit at some point in time. Obviously, like Peter Tackern did vocals and stuff too, but like they were like writing music together like a long time ago. Yeah, and like Swano's stuff, dude, is like progressive rock as fuck. And like those guys like were tight for a long time, and like they wrote a lot of similar shit. And I think like it's just part of like their DNA at this point. They just like write progressively, progressive rock infused, like heavier music. I wouldn't even call it death metal at this point. Some of that stuff.
And I was just gonna say I respect art and music and guys who are, even if you're just painting and as a painter you start to change your style. Like the people who come to your galleries and talk shit, like get out of here, dude. But there's also the people that are there to watch you progress throughout your whole entire career as an artist, and I'm that guy. Same with like Cynic. I've throughout the years watched people talk shit because everybody compares their shit to Focus, but through and through, I was brought up on Bungle and shit, dude. You have to there's certain things you have to shed to get through. Like, just I'll listen to all Bungle, so if you can go through all that and to watch this band nicely progress as Opeth, and this is you just to have the respect to say this is what this artist wants to do at this point in their art life. That's how I feel.
I wonder if you think that they like, because nowadays, like people throwbacks, they do throwbacks like to where like, big new metal bands are big now that were not big for like, but it's like with clothing, it's with everything you ever see. It's like there's this kind of nostalgia vintage thing and with guitar, I worked at Guitar Center, back in the day, and dudes would just walk in and pay fucking $15,000 for a guitar that was like a Strat that was like from 1978 or something. It's like and going back to like keeping your kind of like your claws in the ground and not trying to have anything progress past it. Like like the day that you go like fuck, everything sucks from now on. There's a lot of those guys back in the day that like Jimi Hendrix is no one's ever gonna outshred him. Led Zeppelin, no one's ever gonna outdo them. It's kind of you get a lot of that with I don't know where I'm going with this, but you guys having a good time?
No, I think like metalheads are like that. They like have like a certain idea of what a band is and what a sound is.
Yeah.
And then like that's something that means a lot to them. It's like you're saying how like metalheads are very nostalgic. Yeah, like something happened at a certain point in time in their life and they had music that was like the soundtrack to that. And that band means so much to them because of that certain thing. And then like all of a sudden that band has that sound in their head. And if it changes, they're offended. Like, it's not even like it's like a bad thing. They're like offended. Like think how many people are angry like over like Opeth changing or like any other band too. I mean, like
no, I'm not that, but I can definitely catch myself.
And that's it's hard not to sometimes, but
it's a good point.
After a few beers, you can definitely catch me outside the show.
Take things personally. Yeah, 100%.
I'd always be like, but dude, do you know what was happening in '93? I've definitely been that guy.
Playing Game Boy, not even playing Game Boy, man. I was looking,
dude, don't even start.
You were just getting over mom's boob at the time.
I had the brick. I had the thick brick Game Boy, dude. And Tetris was the shit, dude.
That's a good point. The music, that kind of music, and when you break through with death metal, when you break through with any kind of metal, when you break through with any kind of music in general, that band has a sound to you, and then when it changes, you're like, and a lot of people do use music as therapy. I mean, I do.
It's biological,
So it's like it'll bring me out of dark times in my life from in the past where I've been like driving and just like monotone, just going to work like a fucking robot constantly. And there's been times where a song has brought me out of that, and I just like smile and get a tear. And I'm like,
we're talking about
there you are. Like I'll come straight out of it. And I'm just like,
you're talking about vulnerable spaces, and that is another perfect time just on the human level. That is the most vulnerable space is adolescence, dude.
If they change that drastically, though, then when you're younger, mainly, I don't want to say like now, but like when you're younger and you're like, they got you out of that time, that they got you through things. That's why I think Ian's point makes so much sense. That like when they decide to go like, all right, we're when we were younger, it would be like, all right, we're clean singing now. We'd be like, fuck you, dude. And we'd be like so mad. We'd be like,
you and I stopped at Iowa.
Is going on? Like,
man.
It'd be like a big change.
Iowa, we stopped at the same spot, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
After Iowa, we just said we've had our fill. It changed, and
Yeah, it's just, it brought you during those times, those songs, you could put those songs on now and you would think about those times. It would just bring you back immediately, to a car that you were driving in, or sitting as passenger, or walking down the street when something happened, or anything. It brings you right back to that. So like the fact that that band takes you back to that, and then they change their style, then you're just like, I thought we were friends, dude. Fuck. It turns into kind of like that a little bit. That's a good point. I like that a lot.
That's why I don't connect to the new metal except Korn, really. Like I was just not nostalgic for me. Like I kind of skipped it.
You have other nostalgic. It doesn't have to be new metal. It could be another band.
I'm just saying new metal as an example.
Yeah. It could be there was other bands that touched you. I mean, they touched your heart. Back then. There's other bands that like you were like going like fuck. I mean, if you had like like your first like deal with a girl, she's like, no, I don't like you, and you're like, God, and you have like a music, you're like, like comforting kind of melody in the background to kind of get you through it. For me, like there's a million things in my life where something bad has happened or something negative has happened, and music is kind of like shepherded me through the dark time, and to be like, music's sick. That would be my end hypothesis. Would be like, music's super rad, dude. I don't know what's going on in my life, but music's awesome.
Music's awesome no matter what.
No matter what.
It's the one thing that's constant, man.
It's never going to go away from me. It'll always be available to me.
You have Chino. You have all these guys that are going to sing out your emotions for you.
I mean, no, Chino's later on in my life, but I mean, also really early in my life. But it's funny. There's bands now like that I'm actually really into, but like Sleep Token and Deftones, and there's other bands. But there's a guy that calls it cum metal. Or horny metal. Horny metal or cum metal. I was dying. Dude.
Why? So it's like incel metal?
It's like sexy. It's like sexy metal. It's like, dude, it's horny metal, dude.
How does metal how does that even happen?
It's because you can't do. The reason why it happens is you can't do the same style of music over and over with a bunch of bands copying it.
What makes metal sexy? I guess is what I'm trying to
say. I guess it's the amount of females in the crowd.
Sexy metal.
No,
it's not the females in the crowd. It's not. No. It's switching up genres a bunch. It's prog basically. It's switching up genres a bunch and making it like where it's metal for a second and then it's like a funky kind of like ooh, and then
I feel like when you don't have a way to explain something, you just call it prog. I feel like
no, 100%. I've always said that.
Like, I don't know what the fuck this is. It's prog.
It's like death metal prog. It's like we're just so dumb we don't understand it. We're like, dude, that death metal band was sick, but they have that proggy part. It's like it is the best way to describe it. So prog is like has such a huge umbrella. It could be like Middle Eastern music in the middle of a death metal song. We're like. Or like it could be it's that shit gets so proggy at the end. Dude, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or like it could be anything. It could be like just a switch in genre drastically. This is prog.
Fuck yeah.
So what's your guys' favorite number?
8.
8. Oh fuck. 11.
11. I don't have one. I just said that just to get things back on track.
That didn't go anywhere. It didn't take us anywhere.
Osa's favorite number.
All right. We never really fully. Okay. So when was the first in-person jam with Soreption?
There you go.
Thank you. Before tour, like in Brooklyn.
How'd you feel with that? Were you super prepared or?
Oh fuck yeah, 100%. I practiced that shit religiously every day. Yeah, and it was badass. Yeah, 69, hell yeah. But it was Battleground Studios. Like we played like Prog Death, hell yeah. Yeah, we played. I think it was like 2 days. We had 2 days rehearsal like at a studio in Brooklyn, and like it was. I mean, really, it was only one day because the first day was like setting up, but then like the next day we rehearsed and played the set I think 2 or 3 times, and then we went and played it at the Monarch in Brooklyn. I mean, like I love jamming just like you guys. I love getting in a room with dudes and just playing music or people in general. And that's one thing that like I would have like loved to do more. When we were jamming, we just didn't get a chance because it was before tour. However, I went to Sweden last year in December for like a hometown show with them. We were playing at a venue. They were like putting off a show to help this venue out. And they flew me over and we did a show at this place. And we jammed at Tony's house down in his basement. And that was super sick. We had like a little more time to kind of jam the set and like, hang out and just like, do band things. And that was a lot of fun. So like, I would say that was probably like the real first time, that happened. But like a lot of it was like more business. It was like, okay, we're going to go on tour. We need to practice. And like I love that just as much as I love when I was like, you know, hanging out in Tony's basement too. Don't get me wrong. It's like the fact that I was in the room, you know, jamming with the guys. We had like a full stack set up, and it just, you could feel, you know, the fucking vibrations of your guitar and the drums and everything. It just like it was a great feeling, you know, to do that. And it was
the drug of making music enhances when you find another person that you're melding with. Like that's when the like second release of the drug happens. First, obviously performing the music, but then you link up with a dude where you feel in sync with, whether it be whatever you guys are doing together. That I think is like the second release. It's a multi-release drug that we're taking, dude. And that's the second release. Is like, oh shit, dude. I don't know, like mentally, I think that you guys as guitar players, there's this telepathy thing that happens, you know, and I get to tap into it a little bit as a vocalist because I'm watching it happen and I'm in the room where all this telepathy is happening. But there's like a true telepathic thing that happens when you guys you catch the same wave. If you were surfing, I'm all metaphors tonight, dude, but it's totally true. It really is the same way. You guys you're
oh, nice background. Look, Casey's like, Casey's on your level, man. You guys are sharing backgrounds.
I'm feeling what Anthony's saying, dude.
Your shit looks way better than mine, dude. Yours looks freshly installed, dude.
Just keep on going, Anthony. Keep on going.
But am I making any sense, or am I just having a stoner rant right now? Does that make sense?
I mean,
a telepathic thing that you have not had a telepathic situation where there's no spoken word yet you guys are speaking to each other in the studio. God, you guys need to smoke more weed, dude.
Is it me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I didn't know who you were talking.
I was trying to find a comment that was going to make sense.
I said you guys. I'm talking all three of you.
Yeah,
this
is a good one. Name someone. I wasn't listening. I heard the laughs and stuff. I think
I've repeated the question way too many times.
I was trying to find something funny to put over.
I think telepathy is legit, dude. It's like it happens between musicians.
Yeah.
I think like
telepathy.
Yeah, the telepathy. It's like, I mean, to call telepathy is like,
I mean, it's like
superpowers, you know. But like at the same time, it's like I feel like there is like a little bit of that, especially
there's
like
a
when
different way of
you're
communicating,
jamming, like free form jamming. Like, I mean, you don't get that so much like in the situation with Soreption. Everything is planned out. We don't sit in a room and like jam it out. Everything is written like on a computer. Mm-hmm. We learn it after the fact, and then we jam it in a room. And like that's something that we don't get that aspect from, but it's something that I think as a musician you love to do with other musicians, because there's that connection that you get that that just satiates a certain like release of dopamine, like you said, you know. And that's something that I think like you get when you like you're like improvising and making stuff up and writing together in a room and just like creating ideas. And like sometimes like when the juices are flowing, some good shit happens, and like it just it feels good, because like sometimes you'll do something else will complement something in the same way that kind of like balances the whole thing out.
That's a good point. That's a good point with the freestyling where you all smile at each other and it's like awesome, you know, like where everything like kind of hits.
Yeah.
Also too, I could see the opposite of it, where it's like you guys have all practiced and you guys like nail a part and it's just like so tight that you guys are like, fuck yeah. You know, like it could be like there's opposites to that.
It's like a race, a running race where you guys all start at the same start line and then everybody just takes off in their own directions. And then at one point you meet each other, you high five, and you're like, oh shit, we hit the same, lane or whatever. It's a good feeling to be like, oh shit, you had the same idea. Things are working with both of our brains, Body language is a thing too. Watching somebody in the jam space. Well, I'm sure Diego is probably more fluent in what we're talking about right now than most dudes that we know. Diego can catch a vibe in the jam, and Casey knows what I'm talking about. Diego Sanchez has probably got he speaks the language the best with the freestyle death metal jams.
Freestyle, yeah. That's what the opposite, like what Nicole's saying, the opposite is like when you just nail shit and it just like stops on a dime and like goes back into the, you know, like the riff goes, everyone stops together and like goes into a heavy part. You guys are just like, oh,
you caught that one moment. You caught that
like,
one
yes,
moment, that quick high
like,
five that I was talking about.
Hell yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, and we definitely do that to a certain degree, but it's a different feeling from like, yeah, when you're jamming, like, you know,
yeah,
if you're jamming with people and like, you know, like a moment happens and everybody looks at each other and you just start laughing, you're like, fuck, that was sick.
yeah,
You know, that was cool. I don't know what the fuck we did. We're probably never going to do it again, but that was fucking sick.
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
Like
you know,
everyone felt it, and like,
how many unrecorded live sick moments like that have happened with you guys? It's happened a ton with me and Dan DK. Shout out Dan Kenny. Didn't record 95% of the cool shit that we did. Probably we would just get high and play death metal. Yeah. And however it came out that day, we would just move on with our days.
Man, that was what I was doing when I should have been like writing an album. that was what I was like. I was just like jam with people, and I was like, all right, check out this riff. I'll play this riff, then I'll just like fucking go off on a tangent in my head and play another riff that then I just like, it doesn't make any sense compared to the last one, but it feels good in the moment when somebody's playing drums to it or whatever, and then like it kind of all melds together. But like I feel like if I recorded some of that shit, like I could have had like, you know, a full length instead of an EP.
Well,
do you ever do stuff like that?
Right?
People are already saying they want the part 2 of the Grim Reaper story, dude. We needed the follow-up.
Thanapraxia.
Yeah, dude.
Right on. Cool.
There was people commenting on they want the sequel, dude. So maybe that's the thing, dude.
Yeah,
and then you could do like a EP full-length package for the physical.
Man, I was actually thinking about doing physical, but I mean, I would have had like 100 discs sitting around my house. I would have gave out 50 to my friends, and that's, I would have had 50 hanging around somewhere. You know what I mean?
Now, with what you've done since that project, I think that you could sell 100 copies of a physical piece of media.
The focus now is Soreption, man. Yeah, the next Soreption album is going to be or at least hopefully, it's going to be something very similar. Yeah, it's Soreption, obviously, but hopefully a little bit different, and it's going to have like some new sounds. And
we had
hopefully something that is going to be super kick ass. Yeah, at least we're trying our best. You know, so after that, Anthony, fuck yeah, dude, Thanapraxia. Yeah, and maybe I'll get I'll get some guest vocals from the vocals of Severed Savior. Right?
Oh, dude, I'll do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I haven't done one of those in a while, dude. I like to collaborate with other people, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
And now I'm all jacked on it because I just got off of that festival.
Fuck yeah.
Now I'm not just some stoner dude that talks about death metal every week. I'm actually a guy that did something in death metal currently. Even though it's just
Severed Savior is just such one of those like legendary bands, though. I mean, it's like
it is.
I noticed more than too, but Severed, like, in fact, there was a guy who actually compared one of the songs on my EP to Severed Savior.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, and like I didn't like really hear it. I don't know how he heard it and how he made the comparison, but like, I made the comparison. Yeah, and it reminds you of Severed Savior.
What was your first in on
Cool. That's amazing.
What was your first
Survival Insurrection for sure.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean,
oh yeah,
the earlier records, like, I mean, I listened to you after the fact, 100%. I mean, Survival Insurrection was the one. Yeah,
that's music to Anthony's ears, dude.
Yeah,
Anthony was the singer.
I mean, and being so, Ian can feel me on this. Being a member of a band that's already been established and already did things before I joined, there's always going to be that comparison between me and Dusty, and brutality is laws. And another thing too is where I'm a fan before I joined this band, so I still have so much love for all the previous stuff, and actually love performing it too, one by one, and Buried Again we got to do, and I get to just perform songs that I used to love watch being performed.
Hell yeah. And I feel that.
And Severed Savior was very important to the Bay Area scene, going to the Pound, and that was kind of like the home band. I mean, Animosity also, dude, like Animosity for the deathcore and hardcore crossover thing that was happening then. I think that, you can call Animosity a home team. Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Right? There it is.
And Severed was the hometown brutal death metal band,
Okay.
And so just being that young 17, 18-year-old kid seeing Severed for the first time or hearing Severed for the first time, and fast forwarding to now where I'm still again coming up on 40. I'm performing that stuff. Not only is it the old songs that I used to love, but it's the new songs that I wrote, and it's a cool feeling to still be somewhat relevant to a small pocket of people on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hell yeah.
And our pocket's probably definitely smaller than Soreption, but I'm just saying, just like we have our pockets.
Yeah.
And that's who we're doing it for. There was so much love this weekend. I just felt like the connection that people have had with that record that you mentioned, Servile. It's really cool to feel that it did that for somebody, and multiple people this weekend came up and had that same similar story. So I'm just like, oh yeah, dude, this is why I'm almost 200 episodes into a fucking podcast that I do every week with everybody else that's kind of doing the same thing, and we're all just checking in on each other, like, yo, similarities, differences, how you currently, how was it back then, all this kind of stuff, just checking in on all the homies. And I consider you a homie now, dude. Like, you're a rad dude, and I am definitely having a reflective moment right now where I'm just like, oh, dude, right though? Like, Joel, if you got up on stage right now, how much more of a like importance would you feel just to like contribute again?
About 6.
No, it feels like I'm up on the high.
No, I feel like, I mean, for me, yeah, that's I mean, no, you're on the high. Yeah, you just did a fucking.
I'm coming off. I'm still off the high. That's what it is. And actually, I got a high, which I was just so not ready. I got the high. I was on the negative side.
I was on the negative side. Naveen, we played. Decrepit played at the Catalyst. It was Decapitated. It was randomly coming through town, and this is like 2015 or something like that. And they were like, hey, they had another bass player at the time, because I'd been gone for 5 years or something like that. And they were like, hey, it's like, we don't want to fly someone out. Do you want to just do the show? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll just do the show, like at my hometown place. I've toured the world but never played my hometown big venue. So I was like, okay, cool, play it. And then played it with Decapitated, sold out show. It was amazing. And I just got to like be like, all right, I'm done. Just like, I don't know, because I had been so beat to the ground with touring, and just like the broke like hardcore touring where it was like could only afford maybe like a cheeseburger every now and then. It was like kind of gross touring where I was like, when you get to a certain age, you're just kind of like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like I was like wanting to be like, Whitechapel was hitting me up like, well, if we get if something happens with the bass player, guitar player, you can join us. And I was like, well, I could do that because you guys are sustainable in a big band. But at those are my good friends. So I was like, that'd be cool to just like do the tour bus life where you can get like a normal paycheck and pay rent and not be homeless. But
I kind of like, I missed that. I'm kind of jealous of you. Like I'm jealous of you because like I missed that kind of touring. Like growing up where I grew up, there was no opportunities
at 33.
I had no chance to do that kind of thing. So like
at 33,
at 33, fuck yeah, dude, I would do it right now. So
okay.
like, I mean,
at 37,
straight up, dude. I don't know. I'm not 37 yet. I can't say it. But I'm just saying, I'm jealous, man. I would love to just go out there and rough it, because like there was a while where like, I was like basically homeless, like as a musician, and like I'll fucking gladly do that again on the fucking road, just to like get out there playing music, man. And like, that's kind of like what it.
No, I look back fondly.
So like Soreption's different because we always like have a bandwagon or whatever. So it's
I look back fondly on it, but at the same time, like I'm living in one of the most, and it's it's not anyone's fault but my own. I'm living in one of like probably top 3 most expensive places to live in the world. So like a rent at the time was like, for 3 people living in a house, it was like $700 a month for like a room, and this is like tiny, or not tiny. This is pretty big quarters. We got a deal there. But like here it's like now that place that's probably like $2,000 a room now. It's like with
That's
inflation and everything.
That
Yeah. So it's like at the time though, it was like, you know,
move to Edmonton.
I know, right?
Dude, just
like,
do it. Move to Edmonton.
Yeah, no, it was just like money was like if you didn't, you had to get that threshold. If you didn't, then you're homeless. Like actual homeless.
That was the chance you took on death metal during that time, though, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually homeless for like a bit too, man. But I mean, it was like for probably 6 months. Yeah, straight up. Like actually homeless. I kid you not.
Couch surfing or just in
couch
the car?
surfing. I slept in fucking ravines, dude. I slept like in McDonald's once.
Oh, this
like,
is a good shit.
I used to sneak into McDonald's on 109th Street here in Edmonton. And like you could get in, there was like this little like, you know, dining room area that was like down a couple stairs and you could like get below this area. And then there was a door right next to it. So, you know, around like, you know, 10 to 15 to 12 before they closed and they just had the drive-through open, they would have like the lights turned off. And if you snuck in at the right time, you can get down there and nobody would see you. So like I would just like sneak in. I mean, everything gets cold as fuck.
Oh yeah, you guys are super up north.
Like minus 40 Fahrenheit. Like it's fucked up. And it wasn't that cold. Like
so you definitely you can't survive being outside, dude.
No. It's like, you know, nights like that. I mean, like it wasn't really like that cold when I was doing this kind of thing, but still, it was like it's cold as fuck out there. And like I would just like a few times sneak into McDonald's and sleep there. And I think I would cut me once. That was only once. They came down like 6 o'clock in the morning and they were like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like this guy hanging on like I had like an acoustic guitar as my pillow, like just.
I mean, to your point, though, like another day, dude.
Yeah, but it didn't last long. It was like 6 months, and that's.
I mean, to your point, though, I actually, if it was all my friends together and like we only had like, all right, tours booked. We got $80. Let's see if we can do it. It'd be like a challenge, and I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's do." Like I can go back to
fond memories of the bloodletting
in your life where you don't want to take those chances anymore. I think it's
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what it was like. I was getting I got my last check, and we had like Decrepit had made a good amount of money one tour, and I was like, all right, I mean, good amount, which is like pay rent for like. You know,
dude, that's
couple months.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah. But I was like, but also too, there was a tour right before that where it was negative money. So at the time I was at the cutting point where I was kind of like, all right, it's a gamble. It's a flip of a coin. Do I take this tour and then like, don't get the money to pay rent. And then I'm homeless. And I wasn't like, I had no family backup. I had nothing. It was like, you know, I had like my family could give me $100, $200, something like that. But it wasn't like, you know, which they would do for food or stuff like that. But I was like trying not to be like, all right, I'm homeless now. I got to go like live in my you know, I didn't want to do that. So it was kind of like
it's kind of rough, but it's literally going into a casino.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
And having your life savings.
I cashed out.
Yeah,
I cashed out. I was like, all right, here's my ticket. I cashed out. When it came to that point of like not eating and like living in a place kind of thing, I had to take what I've won and be like, all right, cashed out. You know, it was right in the middle of the economic downturn too, in 2010, 11, something like that, where I was like stopping the full-time touring. And I guess
you got to weigh your losses too. It's like, how much do you have to lose? Like when I was at that 100%. Position in my life, like I had nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was in a place where I didn't know anybody and I just like didn't have fucking like jack shit. I had 2 guitars, acoustic guitar. Yeah, that one. And like a Parker Fly or a Parker PM20, which I had to pawn for rent at one point. I couldn't get it back. It's like I had fucking jack shit. So like, I mean, for me, I was like, I can only go up. You know what I mean? Like I can't go down than this. So like, I didn't care. You know, so I was putting myself in a position where I basically
rad.
So you didn't have like a parental fallback? You didn't have a parental
parents
fallback?
Were Newfoundland. I mean, like I came originally to Edmonton. I did have some family who do not live here anymore. So like, there was a certain period of time where like there was like that house I could kind of pop in and whatever, but it didn't last long. So like it was something that like, at a certain point, like I had to kind of like, stay on a friend's couch. I had some friends who were from Newfoundland who moved up too. And like, okay, I could stay on their couch for a little bit. Don't want to like overstay, shout out to John Prosser for that, like, he helped me out big time. And like, a good friend, Tony Getchell. Yeah. He was the guy I mentioned earlier too, who I played in a band with for a long time. Like he helped me big time. Yeah. I'm like, let me sleep on his couch and fucking like took me to work when I got a job as a guitar teacher because I was like, bumming around.
Love you, Casey.
He would like help me out big time. But you guys, you should check out their new band. There's these two dudes that I used to jam with. There's Tony Getchell and Tyler Dueck. They have a new band coming out with the bass player I used to play with too, actually. It's called Forboda. It's kind of like Gorgetsy, kind of like, Phoroda. And it's like just brand new. They got shit coming out. Like, and it's, they love Gorguts. They love like Artificial Brain and Ulcerate and all that stuff, Like they're really
speaking of Artificial Brain, shout out to Oleg, dude. I gotta give
is that right?
Forboda.
Shit, I heard
with a B. Yeah, with a B. Yeah, it's like foreboding, I guess. And then they made.
I just gotta give some love.
Super sick dudes, man.
Yeah, Forboda. I definitely am gonna check that out, no doubt. But you mentioned Artificial Brain, dude. Oleg Zalman, dude. I love you so much, dude. It's been again 12 years since I've seen him in person, and it was immediate, dude.
He's a freak on guitar.
But not only that, he's a brilliant musician. He's such a phenomenal player.
Asshole to person though, such an asshole.
No, immediately from the point that we saw each other and hugged, dude, it was just exactly where it picked up, dude.
Yeah.
And same thing with Ivan, dude. Like that. I haven't seen any. I mean, I've seen Gilbert within several times within the last few years, and but Troy being in Montana, it was just this thing like. We just picked up right where we left off, dude.
A reunion, like a mini.
That's what I'm looking for. That's when you know that it's still
nostalgia.
Bros,
you're looking for?
Yeah. I feel that with Tony, man. Tony's the same way. Yeah. I went out for dinner, like went out and got some pizza, like a few weeks back. I hadn't seen the guy in like 2 years.
Perfect.
It's great.
One of my favorite like things ever is like because stopped touring and stuff, and there's still the bands that kept going. I love like sneaking up to their shows and just like while they're like hanging out, just like show my face to them, and they're like, "What the fuck?" That's like my favorite. Like you haven't talked to them, or you talk to them every now and then, but you haven't seen them. They were your bros growing up and stuff, and they're like on tour and stuff, and you just randomly sneak up and just show your face.
Themselves in. They just get locked in at this certain level that they can't. They got to do something really fucked up to get out of that like area of your brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The face is burned. You can't.
No, but if they don't, they just stay this similar, that they're just there for life, dude. And I had that moment,
Ian, I keep looking up at Ian, and every now and then I see the guitar player for what's his our buddy First Fragment guitar player,
Phil.
You have a certain angle where you look exactly like Phil. I'm like, are we talking to Phil first? My brain, the Phil's like Phil's crazy. Canadian, right?
Yeah, he's French. Yeah, and he actually has an
French
accent,
Canadian,
which I don't.
But where's the line in between French Canada and non-French Canada? Is it Edmonton? I'm trying to think of all the territories. There's Newfoundland's way over in the east, then you got like New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and then there's like Ontario and Quebec, and then you got like Manitoba and Saskatchewan, the prairies. Basically, it's right in the middle. It's basically like above, I guess, New England. Be where it is. Yeah. But wasn't that where Newfoundland is?
John, just Google it, man. Google Newfoundland is. It's in the middle of the ocean. Straight up.
Okay, so it's more to east.
How's the shores? You got some sick beaches anywhere near you?
Whoa, that was fancy. What'd you just do?
Damn. We got rid of Casey.
Oh, Casey.
Casey, Irish goodbye.
Casey that's his move.
He does. But it was like I guess they call it the rock, because it's like a super rocky terrain. So there's like there's some beaches around, but most of the coastlines are all like rocky and lots of like slate and stuff like that. Yeah. So like it's too cold for like to go out on the beach all the time too.
Yeah.
So,
I'm pulling it up right now for the viewers
but it's a beautiful, you want to go to a place and just like escape and shit, go there, man. It
seems like it's very cold.
It's very humid.
So
I was there in July
this year, and it was much
warmer there than it was in Edmonton.
So up here, this is
colder in Edmonton. That's Newfoundland, yeah.
So
that's
Labrador. Montreal is right
Labrador
here
up top there, and then like the island out there is Newfoundland. So the province is Newfoundland and Labrador. It's like the two pieces.
So it's like Victoria and Vancouver. kind of a little bit, but way
yeah,
bigger.
Vancouver Island and BC. Yeah,
BC.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on the opposite side.
Excuse my dumb geography, but where you're at, how close are you to the ocean though? Even though it's shitty.
Right
Yeah,
now,
where are you?
I'm in Edmonton now, so it's like over on the west side.
Edmonton is just fucking. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah,
He's
Edmonton
right here now.
is like the furthest like north.
He's right here now, and he was here. So
And,
Edmonton's like coming
in
down
August. I was down in California. So
damn. Are you living in California or visiting?
Yeah, well, my girlfriend lives there, so I go back and forth. Yeah,
nice.
And
this
is here. I go there.
Such a
what part of Cali?
Territory.
The mountains. Yeah.
Like what part though?
What kind?
Yeah,
there's so many.
San Bernardino Mountains.
Oh, I was just there. Okay. That's where the those eagles. Sorry, there's eagles I watch on live cams that make that lay eggs and like. Anyways,
and then make more eagles.
No, it's fucking awesome, dude. Once you like get into it, like I remember watching like the eggs were about to hatch.
Dude, I love bird watching, man.
Oh,
like,
dude,
there's so many birds up in the mountains there too. Like
totally. And like there was
crazy.
like
Joel's subtle way of being like, I'm a super fucking American dude. I'm a super patriot. Dude.
No.
New eagles be born and make sure that the eagle race.
You'll get into it, dude. I forget their goddamn names, but there's 2 eagles and they're like been a couple for like fucking 5-10 years now, and
I would totally get into that.
Dude, and every day there was like the eggs were gonna hatch and stuff, and it was like I would tune in, there'd be like 50,000 people watching. We're like, maybe they're gonna hatch right now. Maybe it's like it's in San Bernardino, Big Bear kind of area.
Okay,
like
You've exceeded so much reality TV that now you can't even watch human reality TV.
No, I need
to watch animal reality
TV.
Straight to animals.
So reality TV without the bullshit.
It's like they can't act, dude. This is what they're actually doing.
Wait, I heard you're a expert bird watcher, dude. It's Nicole's shouting that out. Are you joking, or Ian, or is that true?
Yeah, you find all kinds of shit, man, up in the mountains. Do you have the Merlin bird app? That shit is dope.
I'm down.
It's an app my dad told me about that. Like you just you download it and you can put it up in the air and just press play, and then it will record the sounds around you and it tells you what birds.
Oh my god, I'm getting that right now.
It's pretty crazy, man.
That's
you can
rad.
You go for a hike out in the woods and you get really quiet. And,
it's called Merlin bird app.
Merlin Bird ID.
That's
and you'll find some crazy shit out there. Yeah, it's super.
I love
fun.
that.
There's like stellar jays. There's like a bunch of hummingbirds up in those mountains too, man. Like I had never seen a hummingbird before. Yeah, because in Canada those things are rare as fuck. But like
really,
yeah, in California, man, they're
that's
everywhere.
Like a daily thing for us, bro.
Dude, they're everywhere. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, straight up, it was like insane. Because like
awesome.
They're so elusive too. Right? They're so fast and like.
This is the highest rated app I've ever seen in my life. It's got 101,000 5 stars. It's only 5 stars.
So, dude, tell me,
that's how many bird watchers there are out there.
We're in the bird leagues, dude. I want to know, like, what was the hummingbird situation for you? I didn't even know that. My dumb ass is just like, hummingbirds are everywhere, dude. They're just all the time. Dude.
It's like in like Michigan, you're like, fireflies are everywhere, dude. Everyone has fireflies.
So how does that work? Like, where were you
death metal,
at?
Dude. He was like he wants like.
I mean, they are pretty fucking death metal.
Yeah, get the fastest blast speed.
A hummingbird needs to try out for our spire, dude. But so, how do they get up there? That's my thing. If it's a rare thing, how do they get up there?
Up to Canada?
That's a bird that it can't stop basically. So the travel has got to be crazy.
Stop. They hang out,
dude. If we, I may be tripping, but I think that hummingbirds use so much energy that they literally have to just fly and eat, dude.
Hold on, I'm installing my California bird pack right now.
Have you ever seen a hummingbird idle? Has anybody seen video of a hummingbird just? I'm gonna chill on this branch for a minute.
I actually did see one. I did see one do that, and
really?
I took a picture of it too. It's the first time I got a chance. Yeah, it was like outside, like on a tree next to like a bird feeder, and like usually like come over to this flower and just like buzz around. And like one time, one came right in my face too. Like it was aggro as fuck. But like this other time, like it just went in the branch of this tree and just sat there. And I was kind of like, man, is that a hummingbird? Like I don't believe it, man. It's like sitting on this tree, like not doing anything. That's crazy.
Wow.
And like I looked over and like sure enough, man, it was a hummingbird. So I don't know if that was like a rare thing or not, but I snapped a picture of that. Yeah, because like there was no way I was letting that get away.
Yeah, dude, dude. If you could pull that picture up, that would be rad as shit. Because I've never seen that before in my life.
There's a hummingbird perching video, dude.
And I have so much more opportunity to see that than you, Ian. If you really think about it,
yeah,
because
man.
hummingbirds are so much more prominent in my area.
Oh, look at.
I guess, but stopping to eat is one thing. He's talking about just stopping. Oh, wait, that one's just chilling.
They're just chilling. That's what I've seen that before.
Okay, so I have bunk information, guys. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's from what you've seen, you know. That's like the information you like if you're a grandpa and you tell your grandkids, like, dude, they don't they don't fucking stop, dude.
And then they grow up to be adults and they still believe it. And
there's people that like
schools
study them. They're like, dude, they stop all the time, dude. Look at this group stopping, just hanging out.
Well, they're
fucking pussies. Look how their head changes colors when they turn their heads.
Yeah, they got like that iridescent kind of shine to them.
That's kind of like, oh, it's trippy.
It is trippy. That's one of the that's always been the most fascinating bird to me. Even the big birds are crazy. When you what are the albatross? Is that the giant
condor?
Oh yeah,
I've seen one with like a 6-foot span, dude. That was crazy. It went right over my head.
Yeah.
But a hummingbird is one that I pay attention to the most. If I'm out in whatever looking at shit, a hummingbird's gonna grab my attention way more than other birds.
We had actually right before we saw Beat with Danny Carey and Beat King Crimson stuff. My dad flew out to come see it with me, and we were sitting at a restaurant, and just these hummingbirds just were like in my face eating from this plant, and I was like, like what? I was like, I was like, still obviously, but this is insane. They were like literally probably less than a foot, just like eating.
Dude, they don't give a fuck, man.
I know. I was like,
it's
what?
Crazy. Like they'll get the reaction time. Like, yeah,
the reaction time's probably good. If I were to do this, they'd probably be gone, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They're so fast. Yeah.
But that's simple. Like that's all their thought process isn't really like, oh, there's this weird creature grooving to this music. They're not thinking that, dude.
Well, no. It's we're eating dinner before the show.
It's just food.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. No. But it's like they've actually shown up because Osa's father, who passed away, was like really into hummingbirds. And when we sorry to drop that, but there's a correlation.
R.I.P.
So basically like when we got together, there was like hummingbird shit all, and for my birthday or something like that, when we got together, like my mom her birthday, my mom and like my dad, like all these people sent her like hummingbird postcards not even knowing what's up, just like, oh, that's cool, hummingbird stuff. And like all this hummingbird shit was like coming to us all the time, and we were like looking at each other like, what the because I was like trying to go like, spirituality is, I believe it, but like not that much. And then all of a sudden it just started coming, and I was all the time, it was like hummingbird. It was like in such a short period of time where I was like, stop it with this fucking
your dad roasted me the hardest. Your dad roasted me the hardest for not being at your wedding, dude. Out of all the videos, he got me the most, and in a good way. I knew it was out of love.
Well, because Casey was probably like, dude, fucking get pissed, dude. Like,
dude, I was like, I definitely felt like I should have been there.
Well, of course you should have, but you're moving into your new house.
I was so and I'm still busy as shit, but that was so crazy that weekend, dude. All right,
Ian,
more weeds.
Let's kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, sounds good.
It
was, dude. Great.
You're great.
Thanks for having
me. You should do like internet stuff. You're a really good guest to have. You're really.
He has been, dude. He's been doing fucking videos forever, dude.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like a live internet, you're good at this stuff. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you,
thanks,
you're good at a lot of stuff, probably, which is probably annoying because you shred guitar. You shred everyone that's ever been on in my life. But as far no, but no, you are absolutely like talented as fuck at guitar. Seeing you for the first time, going like, I stood right in front of you for Soreption and just being like,
yeah,
who the fuck is this alien? Like, and actually, one more thing before we wrap this up, because I'm a gear nerd. So we talked in the beginning about noise gates and stuff like that. Because you guys have so many like solid stops to riffs again. What's your rig like, and how? Because I love all this shit. So what do you do as far as like what's your noise suppressor? What's your amp that you use? What's the guitar? What's the pickups that you like?
Actually pretty simple. I mean, I use a Kemper like religiously.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll like reamp stuff with plugins and shit like that. Like,
did you capture an amp? Did you capture an amp for your sound?
No, I just I use like different like profiles of amps, and I'll tweak them obviously, but I'll add less gain and add like a noise gate to it. There's like 2 different noise gates. Like you can add like multiple noise gates on the Kemper. So like I'll play around with like a couple different ones, and they have like different intensities of noise gates and stuff too. So like,
do you do one in front and one behind the amp, or
yeah, you put one in the effects loop and one in the front of the amp.
Okay.
Like you can also like gate things differently too. So like some songs like require less gate. So for example, Utopia is a slower song. Like the BPM is like the same, but we play like eighth notes instead. But like it's the notes like in there's like a long pinch harmonic like rung out. And if I have the same gate that I have, say for like the artificial north, then like cuts it off.
It just
and then,
cut
like,
it off.
Yeah, and sometimes it don't even hit the pinch. It just goes. It sounds like my cat, and then like it just
just a meow harmonic.
Yeah, it's like, and like I made that mistake like with the Kemper first, and like I did that because it's different when you play it live than when you play it like at home and stuff too, right? So
100%.
Yeah, when we did that rehearsal, I noticed like you playing some pinch harmonics, like oh shit, it doesn't ring out in the same way. So you need to like kind of change the pinch. The noise gate per song.
Joel,
so I have like a couple different patches.
Which one would you disable for a pinch harmonic? The behind or the in front?
I use them both, but just turn them lower.
Turn both off.
Yeah. So like it's all about like in my head, it's like all about the gain versus suppression and like the balance of the two. So it's you want like more gain and like less suppression for Utopia, let's say, and then you want more gate and less gain for something like Artificial North, because it's so much faster and there's all this little like rests and stuff like that. And some of those things, like the only way you can get it to sound choppy is just by having the gate so tight that like you try to pinch, like sometimes it just doesn't cut through, which makes you pick harder too, which is kind of good. Sometimes it's like makes you like have a better tone for some.
It's the argument that it's still in your fingers, dude. It's
man, part of it is. There's
no matter what you do with the balance of whatever you just talked about, because I'm a dummy, I can't gate and fucking this and that. But it means that you have to train your fingers to navigate those realms that you're creating with the effects and or levels of whatever you're talking about. It's still in your fingers. You have to find it in your fingers. After that, you want to have those starty situations. You have to find it in the technology and then make sure that your fingers can do it,
Yeah. I mean, like the tone, like sometimes people are like gear chasing, looking for like another amp or something like that. But I mean, in reality, it's probably just practice. They have to sit down, like practice, like where they put their hand when they palm you. Or like how they fret a note, how much pressure they add, like how hard they pick, all these different types of things. The pinch harmonics they add, all these different types of things make a difference to your tone. And like that's all in your hands. Like you can't buy like an amp that does that for you.
Yeah,
so like
buy a pinch harmonic amp.
That would sound terrible.
I know. But
every note is a pinch harmonic. Zach Wild would love it.
Yeah.
I mean, Joel, you earlier mentioned something about capturing. Is that a thing? Capturing a tone?
Oh yeah. So it's nowadays these amps or these profilers. Like he has a Kemper. So I've seen huge bands play with Kempers. Like I've seen Depeche Mode, but they're not Metallica. Like they do fractals, but they can put a mic to an amp. The technology inside of the foot pedal, or to put it simply, the thing in the rack space,
the box,
the box can capture that tone and recreate it into a digital form. Where if you blindfold yourself, they're getting good enough where you can't, almost sounds better if it's digital. Like there's like old guys will be like, whatever, dude, I could tell this shit, and they blindfold themselves and they get a capture of like a 1970s blah blah amp, or like, a captured digital version of that amp, and they're like, all right, the digital, what they're saying blindfold is like, all right, B sounds better, which is the digital one, and they're like, fuck, and they're
it's like a wine connoisseur. It's like a guy who's trying to like taste a wine that was grown in this region at this year. It's the same thing. It's like a sommelier. You guys,
same fucking thing, man. I think like just you gotta pick your wine and just stand behind what you like. Maybe it's how you drink the wine, man. Yeah.
It's a metaphor heavy podcast for me tonight, guys.
Yeah.
But it does make sense, right? It's
I think like there is like, I mean, a certain, like, I'm sitting next to like a Positive Grid Spark right now, and I use that for like practice stuff, and it's a great amp. It's the ultimate practice amp. Like it's amazing.
I have a Boss Katana, and I was thinking about
also the ultimate practice amp. So good.
Boss Katana sounds like a sick sword, dude.
Man, I'd say it is. I mean, those things don't hold a candle to like like a Neural DSP Quad Cortex or like a Kemper.
Yeah.
Like in terms of quality of sound, like it just doesn't have. I mean, for one, the speaker on this thing is like 3 inches.
Yeah,
so like,
it's a lot.
A bunch of shit just gets missed.
It's a big headphone speaker.
yeah, straight up, man. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there is like you can buy a good amp. When you get a good amp, it's up to you to do the work. That's what it comes down to.
100%.
So I mean, Kempers, dude, that's where it's at. I love Kempers. I love the tone. I love the lead tone I get of that, especially. I can get like rhythm tones out of other stuff that I like too, but the Kemper just is the go-to. But the lead tone I get of the Kemper, I cannot get anywhere else.
I'm gonna piss my pants real quick, but tell Anthony about how. But then we'll end it after I piss. But like, tell Anthony about how good the Kemper is, because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, dude. Just like I'm such a novice, dude. But I understand what you're saying though, because as talking to enough players that have an instrument, everybody has a preference, dude, and what it sounds like to you, how you can best express what is inside you. That's to find a piece of equipment that can translate it is best and close to what you want it to be. I think it's beautiful, dude. And I talk to all these people that talk about different guitars and different amps and shit, and I go shark eyes. I go, I can't really speak that language. I've become enough of a bilinguist to speak the surface levels of death metal and be like, dude, that riff where he does the 8th notes and the 16th notes and all. I can speak the basics, but to hear you guys talk about the love for your gear and all that stuff, it always just at least reminds me like, oh yeah, this is why I love it, dude, because these guys just nerd out on getting the best sound that they are most satisfied with. We're never going to be fully satisfied, but most satisfied with. And Kemper's a name that I haven't heard a lot, to be honest. I don't even know. Crazy. So they make heads, or do they make cabs, or both?
Actually just started making cabs, and they had heads before. It's like a German company, and it's like this I started, like, I think it's the closest thing to an amp that you can get that's digital. It's the closest thing that you can just plug into and play, and it always sounds good. There's
Why have I never heard that name?
Dicking around with
Kemper.
Like if you get like a line 6 or like a fractal or something, there's a lot of like kind of little dialing thing you have to do to like sit your tone, and like it takes a long time to really get a good sound.
Okay,
but Kemper is just like good as soon as you plug in.
Okay, sick.
It's polishing the diamond into a turd with because I have a fractal. I have a fractal AX8, so like I'll get a sick tone, and you'll wake up one morning being like, it could be better. I don't know what's going on. And then you'll just take that tone and you'll just add these random things to it, or these random like this boost pedal beforehand. Or you'll like start like just you can nerd out way too hard on it to the fact where it becomes a point where you could turn a tone that you loved, and then it becomes like something you hate. You know, like pretty quickly.
You can't like.
I find that in a DAW. Like I find that when I record something
too.
If I like EQ something, like I when I first started like doing mixing and shit, like I'm not a good mixer by any means. Okay, I'm first to tell you, but like when I was doing my EP, like I would record guitars and I would just neuter the fucking guitar because I would like just high pass and low pass everything. I would have all these like dips all over the place. I would fizz note, and like there was just like no presence to the guitar, and it just sounded like super hollow and boxy, and like it just like didn't sound good. So like I found all I need to do is cut the low end. Yeah, maybe do like a little fizz note cut, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's great. And generally out of the box, it sounds awesome.
Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about when I say that you scooped the low end? Did I hit that?
Pretty much, man. You nailed it.
Dude.
Fuck yeah.
You scoop the mids, dude?
See, I told you I could speak this language a little bit, just the surface.
It's like it becomes such a nerdy language because like there's sound that you can hear and there's feel the way you can play, and then when you're playing and not hearing the sound you want to hear, where what other people might want to hear the certain sound and says that sounds great, what are you talking about? But like with the way the playing and then the sound becomes like a different whole entity in itself, and you want to like, I feel like the dig should be deeper. There's so many things you can like go like too far on when you have your own controls and you don't have someone else doing shit for you. We're like, and then to the point where you get ear fatigue.
Yeah.
And you might have a good sound, but you're like, it sounded better before. I don't know why I did all that. You know, it's like it just goes, it's such a loop you can get, and that's why we hire like sound or engineers to do albums and get
have the ears for it. Yes.
And it's like another perspective too. It's like you said, it's like it's nice to have somebody else do that shit for you.
Yeah,
like,
totally, dude.
When somebody else says, like even you'd be like, oh, that sounds good. Like you don't play guitar, and you're not kind of like, that's what I mean by that. It's like, you're kind of like a guy who doesn't like, sit there with a bunch of amps and be like, okay, I'm looking for my tone, because it's like you're a vocalist, right? But like you can hear something and be like, oh, I like that, or I don't like that. That perspective is so important, I think, for people.
It goes back to when I listen to all you, when I listen to all you brilliant players. I know what makes me feel correct when I'm listening to it. And yeah, the mix in the studio as the artist, you can get that fatigue and actually be, tricked in a way by your own ears.
Yeah.
You're looking for something but you can get lost on that path and things can change. Or did Joel get lost in the internet?
I don't know, man. Yeah, he's
but like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, the ring of death.
I love this, dude. And no matter who we talk to, we're all on this similar path, and we all kind of have these similar things that happen in our path, whether it be you with Soreption, doing a lot more than me, but we still have, faced these certain things that happen. I've definitely had ear fatigue. Here's the mix today. You go out to the car and you're listening to it, and how does it sound in the car?
Yeah, the car
how does
test,
it sound here? The car test is so real, dude.
Yeah.
Either way, dude, I love that you gave us this amount of time, dude. I know we're at 3 hours and 20 minutes. I'm glad that you guys are working on that new Soreption, dude. I think that what you guys are doing, everybody's going to be very happy when they experience it, dude.
I hope so. Yeah, that's the goal.
But it's for us first. Man. It's for us first, right? Ian?
No. It's for us, man. We're in it for ourselves. That's actually a good discussion, though, too, right? It's like
it is.
I mean, like his internet is fucked. I mean, I think like people who are into tech write it for themselves. I don't think we write it for other people. Like when I played Wonderwall and I made $150, I played that for other people. Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, but then I went home and I played, Necrophagus. Yeah, I did that
Exactly,
for myself.
dude.
So like,
there is it's a healthy level of ego because we're all humans. There's always going to be that duality. And obviously what drives us forth is being proud of something that we've done or just having confidence in ourselves. And I think that no matter what you're doing, that is a positive thing. And death metal, it's very, very beneficial to have that side of you that's going to drive you through it. And you end up getting a gig like Soreption. And then you take that as a baton pass to continue the race and continue. He's back. And continue going. Like I've said it there's so many things on the show that I've said so many times, but I'm going to say it again. We're never going to be satisfied. And if we do become satisfied, that's when we stop. So we're going to constantly try and one up each other or ourselves in a healthy way to feel like you've progressed in this intricate, extreme, unique version of music that we've been doing for decades now, I don't know. I'm having another stoner moment.
About 7. But so my internet, I'm in the mountains. My internet's starting to like act all weird. So
all right.
Unless
I love you guys so much. This was a great time.
Yeah,
dude, Ian, you were the fucking man, dude. That was a great fucking time, dude.
Likewise. Thanks
We're
for having
very
me.
excited for Soreption.
Let's keep in touch, man.
Yeah, we'll do.
Hell yeah. You were the
See you guys
man.
around. Maybe when I'm down in California next, we'll run into
dude. If you're in Cali, for sure, we got to make it happen, dude. I'd love to see you in person, dude.
Right on.
Yeah. We'll do a Texas domination thing later because I had that same thing where it's like meeting people that have been on the show in person. God, that's so fun, dude. Shout out Damien, Sasha. Well, I've met Damien many times, but Sasha, dude, shout the fuck out to Sasha from Gorgasm, dude. That motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Love that
guy. My God, dude. He is such a good human, dude. And so many other people. We'll do the detailed thing later when we got the full resident homies. But all right, I love you guys. Battleforgecoffee.com is where we want you to get your caffeine. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com is where if you drink Battleforge coffee and then go to that place, magic actually happens. You don't realize it, but it's gonna happen for you guys. Cali Death Podcast.bigcartel.com. Ian Waye, hit him up on the socials if
he's
you
doing
want
lessons.
You want this master to teach you how to fucking shred.
He shreds he's one of the more proficient, solid guitar players I've seen live in a live environment. So he has to be good in a sitting environment in his studio.
Yes, most definitely.
Thanks, man.
You're tired as fuck.
Next time you see us, it'll be 10 times better. I'm hoping.
And shout out Kelly. We didn't even talk about how the Kelly thing happened. It happened on tour. We'll have to have a part two of
we'll get you and Kelly together.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We love Kelly and I always loved having him back on. So it's a good excuse.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys. Love you.
Love you guys. Had a great time. And we'll see you next week. Rock on.
Oh yeah.